Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Japan World Heroes Expo.
Japan World Heroes Expo.
Hey, and Larry's already happy.
I'm
the first
excited.
time he's ever laughed at something I did. It's amazing.
And speaking of laughter, who are you, sir?
I am Matt Weinhold,
I am Shawn Sheridan.
I'm Larry Strothe.
And I'm James GONIS.
and we've got a table at this wonderful event. Okay, all right, save it, spread it out. I just blow your load in the first 3 minutes here.
This is exciting.
You're gonna
It
lose
is
your voice in
exciting.
an hour.
It is exciting. Scott ZILNER invited us to appear at this convention. We are here. He gave us this amazing table, and
Oh my God,
the table is incredible.
Yes.
It's big,
Yes.
a lot of space.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of space.
We have wonderful
Cool
neighbors.
air
Wonderful
conditioned.
neighbors. We're also in a good area where we're across from
Legends.
Hiroko Sakurai,
Legend.
who is Fuji in Ultraman.
The original
Ultraman. And so we watched this on TV as kids.
Yes.
And here we are just looking at her.
She's
She's
across
right.
And I had a big
Amazing.
crush on her.
It's-
back
oh my
I had a
gosh,
crush.
of
I have a
course.
crush
So
on her
did I.
now.
And
Yeah.
here we
She's
see her. She's
wonderful.
literally like 10 feet away from us.
Yes.
amazing.
And
we
I
get to
said hello to her yesterday.
You did?
And just lovely.
I was in awe. I was in awe.
And you guys yesterday talked to the other person that's across from us, which is
Alexis RHEE.
Alexis RHEE.
and she was the geisha on the screen in Blade Runner.
The billboard geisha.
Iconic.
Billboard
Iconic.
geisha.
Iconic.
And she's
Yeah.
eating what we think is a pill.
That's
yeah, we
right.
have to ask her about that.
We're gonna ask her.
Yeah.
It was like an advertisement. Yeah. oh my gosh,
But
amazing.
we're looking at them
That's-
as we're here at our table.
And
Crazy.
it's one of the perks of Monster Party
Yeah.
is that we get to be at an event like this. And
Look at the ladies.
Look at the ladies. Look at the cosplay, and look at these celebrities that I'm telling you, like I grew up
It's surreal.
with Fuji.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and she was very, very important to me around this time because it was the beginning of my I don't know else how to say this. Awakening? Awakening. I didn't experiment yet, but I was awakening. And so,
Okay.
it would be Fuji, it would be Diana Rigg.
I was going to say, Emma
Okay,
Peel.
Don
yeah.
Wells.
Oh, yeah.
And so all of a sudden you're like, hey, there's an element of life
I like
that
these.
may be beyond my toy collection
Right,
that I
right.
need to explore.
But maybe we should talk a bit about this convention. It's a little different from
Let's talk about
like
the
a
convention.
like a
Well,
MONSTERPALOOZA.
Yes, and I'll tell you, for me, like walking around here, seeing all the vendors, it's so cool to see like mostly like kaiju, Godzilla,
Yes.
you go to Comic-Con or even MONSTERPALOOZA, and of course you have particular booths that specialize in it, but like 90% of these vendors, toy vendors, it's all the Japanese stuff.
And one of my favorite vendors is the M1 Go.
Yes, yes.
They're first of all, they're lovely people.
Mm-hmm.
They do amazing work, and at every convention that they attend, I buy something. And this one, I went a little crazy. Like I bought two. They do the kaiju on the tricycle.
yeah.
So
I love
and you
those.
know, you
I
love
mean, I
this
have a
stuff. You
bunch of
have
the-
three. You have
yeah.
3 or 4
I have
Godzillas.
3 of them.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have the Smog Monster,
Got it.
I have the Mushroom Guy.
Got it.
Godzilla.
Got it.
And the Gimme Octopus Guy.
Gimme Octopus Guy, right?
See,
Yeah.
the only thing with
I
this.
also, wait a minute. Hold on.
Okay,
It's my toys now.
Okay, yes. I'm sorry.
I have
I'm sorry.
Ultra 7.
Ooh, okay.
I got Alien Baltan yesterday.
Nice.
And now what I had was the M1 Go. It's Ultraman on the tricycle, but the color scheme was reversed, which is
Okay.
cool.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's worth something.
Was that purposely done?
Yes,
that way?
it was like,
okay,
a
okay.
variant.
Okay.
And so, but I always wanted the regular one,
Right,
and they
right.
have it today. So I got that. So,
Nice.
barely 24 hours cumulative, and I've already spent $225.
Yeah, really.
You know, the one thing I was going to say is...
One thing.
Yeah, the Hedorah.
Here we go.
The Smog Monster. The
Yes.
thing about him is, the colors... I wish they made him like a gray like a gray color with like maybe some highlights, but because it's either a yellow or a pink.
I was going to say, how many variations are there?
There's
for
only
Hydra?
two that
Okay.
I know
Right
of.
now.
Yeah,
Right.
And there could be,
No, well, I take that
Go
back. It's there's a pink and a yellow with different colors on it, but then
Okay.
they
I have the
came
pink
out with
one.
just a pink. It's just pink.
like pink molded plastic.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I don't want
Well,
my
you don't-
Hedora in just pink.
But the
And
pink one with
no.
well, wait a minute. The pink one with the paint scheme is cool. And what I like about those, what I like about what they do with the painting, is that it reflects the childlike nature
Yes.
of the toy.
Absolutely.
Right.
Okay,
It's like a little scenario.
Yeah, and it's bright and it's festive, a little
Well,
psychedelic.
Yeah, yeah.
But I want to be gray, like
your
know,
life.
No, like the smog monster in the film.
You could just paint it.
You could paint it.
No, paint the toy and just
Imagine
destroy
that.
It. Just
Sacrilege.
destroy it.
You wouldn't destroy
Customize
it.
it.
So here's my
Customize it.
issue. Okay, all right, guys, you're all like, oh, Larry, I'm gonna pick one of them. I'm gonna pick, and
But
I'm
also
trying to
you-
decide which one should I go with.
Right.
And I'm leaning towards
Pink.
But
I'm
also,
leaning towards the yellow. Which one do you have, Sean?
I think it's the yellowish one. Yeah.
I don't. The pink is,
Yeah.
in my opinion, the pink is painted way better because the
okay.
pink is the base, and then what
Yeah.
the colors that they've added are to me more pleasing. It's a
But-
personal choice.
but-
If you like yellow,
yeah,
you're a
yeah.
big like yellow fan. Go ahead.
I don't know. I want
love
the one.
yellow.
I want the one that's painted best. But okay.
With,
so
with these toys, though, you never know. They might just come out with a variant later on, too, right?
That's true. Yes.
you know,
That-
they-
And then
yeah,
you'll have to, buy another one.
Because
Right.
what they did with the Godzilla, they did different variations of the Godzilla.
Yeah, yes.
With different colored tricycles, I might add.
I
That's
sold
right,
one
that's
of
right.
mine that I had that was green that I got because I wanted that at the next show M1 had the one that's blue, which
cool.
I like.
Wait, the blue tricycle?
No, I'm sorry, the blue Godzilla, and I'm trying to remember what color. It might have
Was
been
he
green.
He was
maybe?
kind of like a whitish color, like kind of
No.
a glow, or
No, he's
'cause I'm
blue. He's
Ah.
blue with
I
highlights.
don't know if I've seen
Really?
that one.
Yeah.
That's cool.
The thing is,
I
if
didn't,
you
I
change
didn't,
your
I didn't want
mind-
the green one because the green one is not like you with the gray. Like it's not quite right. Although it looked
But he's
great.
green.
It looked great.
He's gr- that's
but
what
I
I
prefer
yeah,
the
yeah.
blue, so I
I-
sold my green one.
okay, because I have a green one, and when I was
Oh,
a
you got the
kid-
green one,
No,
huh? Oh.
because when you paint Godzilla,
Sean.
you know, when you paint Godzilla,
We should all repaint each other's
No.
toys. And just,
This sounds. That's a
see
really
what-
good
see what
idea,
happens.
Sean.
Wow.
Let's start with Larry's.
but maybe we should talk to a neighbor. Maybe that's what we should do.
Okay.
Well, too
No,
late now.
Too late.
We missed our-
That's all
we
right.
missed
I'd
our
rather talk to
opportunity.
you at this point because you need some straightening out.
No, I don't need straightening out. But I will say this: there's they made a variety of Godzillas in different color schemes, and now there's a one that's a glow in the dark one. That's the one that I want to get.
That's cool.
And so you say blue, and I'm not sure if I have this one or maybe you're-
Wait a minute. So you told me you have the
have
glow in the
three.
dark Godzilla
But I think there's a new, different variation of the glow.
of the
Godzilla.
glow one that you like
Okay.
better.
No, that I would like in addition.
In addition,
to,
okay,
because
okay.
I would like to get all the Godzillas.
All the
like
ones.
Here at the show, they have the Millennium one. You
Which
saw
is
that,
nice,
James,
which
right?
is nice,
Ah, yeah.
Do you have any of the tricycle?
I do not. I appreciate them, and I appreciate that you collect them and have them. But
Did
But
you
see-
not have a tricycle as a kid?
But
or
you
something?
secretly hate them.
Well, see, James, we've established that James does not like science fiction, right? So that is
He's a
part of
Godzilla
it.
fan, though.
Well, no, but see, like in his mind, it's like, well, that wouldn't happen. They wouldn't ride a tricycle. This is ridiculous.
Giant.
well, there is truth in that because the figures that I collect for my displays are based on kind of recreating how they appeared in the movies.
Thematic,
with
yeah.
little scenics and trees and buildings and stuff. And yes, there are no scenes on tricycles.
But
so-
what if the Japanese military built a giant tricycle for Godzilla?
Maybe that's the only thing that was stopping these kaiju from destroying.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe they needed a
Oh my God.
tricycle to be
Yeah.
distracted.
Yeah, here,
Oh my gosh!
put it
Oh my
out
God,
there.
what did you say? Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Look who's here!
Look who is here! Oh my
Alexis
goodness!
RHEE.
Alexis RHEE.
Hey!
Long time no see.
How are you?
Just 5 minutes ago.
Now,
Well,
you
yes,
had
but
a
now we
great
got the mics on.
You had a great moment with James.
Oh.
Right? James,
You had a great
James
moment with
gave me a
James.
T-shirt.
James gave her a T-shirt.
But yeah, with my photo and a lot of Japanese characters.
Nice.
And my son is supposed to come.
Okay.
And I was so nervous
Why?
Maybe you might say something kind of not.
You got to be careful.
Read Japanese, right?
No.
So we don't know what those words say.
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
We
We'll
don't
have to
wanna-
ask somebody. Yeah.
Read.
No, but your son might.
My son,
And we don't want to embarrass him.
my son's wife, my daughter-in-law, might know, and they are going to be together. And I didn't want it to. Want it to be something kind of naughty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
So I'm wearing
coming
this.
from James, you never
Sorry.
know.
Because James might.
I brought it.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So when we find.
Ask somebody who knows how to read,
Oh,
and then
sure.
then-
Yeah.
Sure.
And then you'll know.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Now, if you have a moment, because I know there, Alexis, you got
A
people
booth.
you got a booth, but can you tell us? So you were in Blade Runner,
Yes, I was
1984.
a Blade Runner first.
and then on the screen we see you put something in your mouth.
Yeah. What is the advertisement?
What are you
supposed to
putting in
be?
your mouth?
Eat all good, and you see.
Yeah, like,
we've
what
been
is- yeah.
debating for years. What is it that you put in your mouth?
That was a placebo pill, if you want to know.
Placebo
Oh.
pill.
Pill. So
Wow.
I don't know what that is.
So was it supposed to be advertising like a medication in the movie? Like,
Yeah, it'll just leave it up to you guys' imagination.
so they left it kind of like that. Okay, because that's what I like. It's not that.
whatever it
Yeah.
is you
yeah.
want
okay.
it to be,
I like
it
that.
is.
I like
Was that also your voice that came out of the speakers, or was
My
that
voice?
or was
Yes.
that was also
Wow.
your
Yeah.
voice?
Okay.
Singing,
Nice.
yes.
Wow.
Did they?
Nice.
Did they
Beautiful
do,
voice.
Did they do like a couple? Like, did Ridley Scott have you do a couple takes? Like, how did he? How
Imitate?
did Ridley Scott kind of have you do different takes of it, or like how?
I was sitting there. They hosted me first, all the way to the real high, and Ridley Scott was talking through a microphone, and I didn't know where. I couldn't even see where he was sitting, and he said, "Oh, visualize this and that, and close your." So I closed my eyes, and right before I opened my eyes, he would say, "Oh, she's got it," and I opened my
Interesting.
eyes.
So what? What you were
Camera
rigged?
started rolling.
You were high.
I hosted really high, really close.
Why
to-
did they have you?
Yeah, what was the reason for
It's
that?
supposed to be a billboard.
So they even did it when they filmed you. They had you high up.
When they really did it, when they were editing, they projected it to the wall.
Okay, that's really cool.
Well, that is such a memorable scene. It is
Yeah.
one of those things where it's just, and it captures the flavor of this whole society.
I know.
yeah.
The mixing of cultures, and then once again, what are you selling? What is that
yeah,
pill?
Yeah.
I want to buy it, whatever it is. I wanna get it.
That's a good idea.
Because of you.
You should market them.
You like sell little things.
You should have like containers of it on your booth at your booth.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, just get
But
like
I think I might be selling, I don't know, sleeping pills.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Tranquilizers.
Vitamins?
Yeah, maybe it's
Yeah.
like something. Maybe it was.
Something like
Some
that.
people can interpret it as like keeping people, sedated, or
Yeah,
just
yeah,
getting,
yeah.
or like kinda
Sedated?
Quaaludes.
easy to easy to manage, in the
Yeah.
big city,
I thought it
like
might
control.
be like a mood in like a
Yeah,
some sort of
yeah.
antidepressant or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. But did you? I mean, when you did it, did you imagine that because that movie when it came out originally was not the biggest hit, and then it grew and
Yes,
grew
right.
until and people finally realized it was such a great movie.
Cult
But did you
following.
know at the time when you were making it?
I
what,
didn't know.
Yeah.
It was a history-breaking movie. No, I didn't know.
Yes, yeah.
And then they started using my image on the back of the CD.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
see it a
know.
lot.
Yeah.
So that's how everybody said, "Who is she? Who is she?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah. How was it? How was Ridley Scott as far as directing
Oh,
you?
he's fantastic. He was rather kind of short man.
Okay. No. Okay.
Oh no! I should have said you're 6'4". But
Oh no, nothing wrong with short people.
Yeah, his stature may be big, but he in real life is a
Yeah, at
small
the time
guy.
I had no idea who he was.
Right. Okay.
He had 2 entourages.
Really,
People,
yeah.
Right.
And then there were like 2 days in a row, all those Chinese and Japanese Korean girls were lining up around Broadway.
Right.
And I was there on the second day, towards the end of the day. I mean,
So you got to see them filming some of the other scenes. Did you get to see them film some of the other scenes of the movie, or
I didn't see
okay?
anything.
Okay.
No, I didn't see anything. And then he came up to me and he just looked at me and go, and then it made me nervous. I didn't know what to say. So I started talking about what I was wearing. Oh, oh, by the way, I bought this jumpsuit, da 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 da, you know. And then he just looked at me really, and then he started laughing, and then he looked around and told these guys to take me to a dressing room. So
And then he got on a.
makeup.
Oh, okay. So he picked you from a bunch of other people, kind of.
Yes,
like, oh, that's
yes.
awesome.
He handpicked me.
And then he got on a ladder, looked you in the eye.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow,
he did.
interesting.
Now,
Now-
yesterday you mentioned Sean Young. Did you have a Sean?
don't wanna-
Oh, okay. Okay,
No Sean
yeah,
Young.
No Sean Young.
okay,
Got
okay.
it.
Ixnay.
But Sean Young was in the movie.
Yes, she
along
was.
with Harrison
Right.
Ford.
Indeed.
Yes, it was a love interest.
Yes.
Oh, I envied her so much.
You're a Harrison Ford fan?
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
I was. Right now, okay. I mean, I saw the second Blade Runner, and he looked quite old.
Yeah,
Of course,
yeah.
I look older, much, 40 years older than when I was. I mean, so.
Did they?
I think you look amazing.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I would still love to see you right now on the big screen like that going to
Yeah, really.
Did they ever try to contact you for the sequel?
No, but there was an English guy in England. He was campaigning, trying to put me in.
Oh, that's
Really?
wonderful.
Then I
That's
got
great.
nervous again. So I disappeared. I deactivated my Facebook.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And
Okay.
we feel so lucky because here you are right across from us.
Yeah.
And we get to see the beautiful picture there with your stuff. And are people just thrilled to see you when they come by?
Yeah, a few people came by and said, yeah. that was really nice.
Do you,
And it was like, yeah,
Do you do other convention appearances a lot?
nothing much at all. I wanted to avoid all those things. So this is my, just about, okay. Actually, physical ones, a third one. Because
Okay.
it was just a couple of months ago. It was the first. It was in Lompoc. It was hidden. So I was all the way in the corner. And it was, what? Yes.
Right. Wow. Well, I think you have a good spot.
You have a good
now.
spot,
Yeah.
yes.
But you know, you've done other things than Blade Runner, though,
Did a
right?
lot of things.
Yeah, and could you, like, everyone who's in the cult stuff, we all
Yeah,
know
like
about
other-
her
what
Blade
are
Runner,
some of
but
the
what
other
other stuff have you
sci-fi-
done?
Maybe I should say Crash. That was 2005. It won
Crash,
the Academy Award.
right?
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so I played a very kind of uptight Asian woman.
Oh,
Okay,
I see.
okay.
And you can see it? Oh my God!
I will see it.
Do I
Yeah.
look that uptight? But anyway, so I did that and Black Panther, maybe?
Black Panther.
Nice.
I'm
Okay.
just bringing out some famous ones.
Yeah.
These are
yeah.
great. Yeah, they're
Nice.
classics.
That's cool.
I did Ray Donovan,
Ray Donovan.
okay.
Yes.
blackmailing Liv Schreiber.
Wait, yeah.
Evil.
Yeah.
I know.
Nice.
And Norbert with Eddie Murphy.
Right.
Sure.
Nice.
Yeah, I love
Nice.
Norbert.
Yeah, I played his alter ego Chinese man.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Wong I was Lily Lily Wong. Was he Lily? I forgot it. But I was his wife.
Oh, okay.
You have
Nice.
so it's these roles are varied. Like you've done all these kind of different.
Yeah,
from
yeah. And-
high comedy to a real
Drama.
dramatic or a wicked woman to a real nice woman. And I'm in a TV series called the Michael Blackson's sitcom.
Okay.
It was coming out of Tyler Perry's.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll look for it.
I
Yeah,
was
for
signed
sure.
as a recurring person.
Nice.
character, but then they ended up writing more episodes, so I became kind of regular.
Nice.
But This is
Awesome.
going to be my second season, so I don't know what the heck.
Yeah, I know the strike is
Great.
kind of making things a little.
Oh, yeah.
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 As fast as soon as strike is over,
Right.
I'm going to go back to Georgia to do that.
Nice.
And
That's
there's
incredible.
another one that I'm recurring is The Brother's Son. It is
Okay.
going to be released on the 23rd of September. Michelle Yeoh.
Oh, we love Michelle
Academy
Yeoh.
Award.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's great, I think.
What a fabulous career.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was Ken Jeong's mother and Dr. Ken at TV
Oh,
sitcom.
Ken Jeong is
I
great.
know
Yeah.
Ken from way back
Oh, really?
because he was a stand-up comic,
Yeah, he
or
was.
is,
Yeah, he
and
is.
I did stand-up comedy for over 30 years, so I would see him at the Improv all the time, and he was
really?
always funny and just a really nice guy.
Nice.
He was going like,
Yeah, doing his thing, yeah, and then next thing you know, he blew up, and
Yeah.
I couldn't be happier for him.
I
That's
played
cool.
his mother.
Really?
Nice, nice.
Okay. So what else did I do? A whole bunch of stuff, but
That's cool.
Well, Alexis, I want to say thank you so much.
Yes,
no.
yeah.
I just want to thank you so much for coming over and chatting with us.
We have to get a group picture
We
too at some point.
We
Yeah.
are so thrilled. And then there's Matt. And we're gonna find out what that shirt says. We're gonna find that out. When
please.
It's okay. So we'll see you later, okay? Great seeing you, Alexis.
Thank you.
Thanks for stopping
Thank
by.
you.
That's cool.
What a cool woman.
Now, I had found I was looking for a cool Blade Runner T-shirt, and I found one online that had the geisha as the main image on it.
Right.
And it had some Japanese neon around it and the Pan Am logo. And at the bottom it said Off-World. It was advertising Off-World.
Nice.
I thought, well, that's cool. So I brought it in case I took a photo up with her and I would switch into the T-shirt.
Oh,
So
okay.
when I met her last night, I showed her the T-shirt and she had never seen it before, so I just gave it to her.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was like, it means a lot more to me that she has,
Yeah,
and I can
yeah,
always buy
for
another
sure.
one.
And this is a common thing that James will do, where he just meets someone and then offers them clothes. That's cool.
I will give them the shirt off my back.
He really will. He'll literally do that.
That's awesome.
Guys, I don't know about you, but I've got the shakes right now. I
It's probably from all the Red Bull.
Well, but you know, no,
Yes.
Matt. It's because look. I remember when I saw Blade Runner, and that whatever I felt of the film, that image of her on
Yeah.
that big screen.
Sure.
was,
It's
because
it's
you have
iconic.
the spinner goes by.
Yes.
It's also
Yeah.
beautiful effect shot.
You know what? That would be a really great. Talking about like more products that she could sell.
Yeah.
I would love a light up sign of that.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
whole floating thing.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, yeah. Also, like back then, like that was one of the first movies you saw where you saw the influence of Japanese culture
Yes.
Right.
in LA like that. Like that was
Yes.
definitely a foresight. Like that happened. You know,
Yes.
like now, I mean, but that was new. That's why it was so exotic and cool to see that.
But it's so funny, Sean, that that image has been in my head all these years.
Yeah, yeah.
And here we are at a convention. We are literally having a table right across
I
from
know.
her.
Well,
And she's so cool.
another thing about gifting something to a person is that you get a free autograph out of it. So I brought
that's
this
awesome.
lenticular postcard of her billboard that came
Wow.
with the Blade
That's
Runner
great.
Blu-ray,
That's
Oh,
great.
I wonder if I should look at that.
and she
Wow.
autographed it for me as
That
a
is
gift.
which
so
which
cool.
Blu-ray, by the way? Which set?
I want to say it was the set that came in the briefcase, the original Blade Runner.
Because I have
I-
that,
yeah,
and
I
maybe
don't have that
I'm
one.
not aware that it's in there.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
or
That's
it might have
amazing.
been, and yeah. So this was the perfect thing for her to. It doesn't
So
light up, but
cool.
it's the next best thing.
Yeah, it's awesome.
But anyway, I'm just coming off my little excitement rush. Because
I
yeah.
like this side of you.
Do you?
I do. I like. It's the positive side of the hay character.
Here's the funny thing, for listeners, if you're listening, we're all just chatting, and
I hope they're listening.
Well, no. I mean, if you've just joined, if you're just tuned in,
Don't watch.
Or yes, if you just tuned in, we're just doing the show, and then all of a sudden, Alexis gets up from her booth and just walks over here.
Are we now
cool.
after the fact describing what just happened?
In case you just tuning
Have
in.
we really got to that point now
to
where
recap.
You can try to rain on my parade. I am just all excited here about this moment, and I'm
Yes,
just
I am
going
too.
over it in
I
my
am excited in my own
mind.
way.
No, you're not. You're
Yes, I
like,
am.
You're just like.
Don't tell me about my singing.
Now, okay, so let me ask you this:
All right, ask me.
cosplayers. You've seen some cosplayers.
Yeah.
I have
Yes.
seen some cosplayers. I love the fact that we're at a convention where everything is pointed in my direction when it comes to the stuff that I like. So
Yeah,
you've
yeah.
got a lot of Kamen Riders.
I've seen so many Kamen Riders today.
A lot of
Yeah.
Kamen Riders, and I
It's
like.
a common costume.
It's a very common costume. James is always working. It's like it's like a computer that's always taking in that information and then spitting out something wonderful.
little
But
early
yes,
for
there are a lot of Kamen Rider costumes. I love seeing people wearing the belts because I love the belts. And my only thing that I have a slight problem with is
Here
that
it comes.
I had some problems with the movie Shin Kamen Rider.
Oh, yeah.
And there are a lot of
Oh.
Shin Kamen Riders walking around, and they look great. And that's not a problem that I have with the movie, because I think that the design that they did, and it's cool, they gave him a trench coat, and that's neat. But there's some other things, and what I would love to see is some of the early Kamen Rider, like, and not just the first Kamen Rider, but like Kamen Rider Stronger and some of the other incarnations. Now, the guy who plays Kamen Rider game is here. And so I've seen a couple of those costumes. So that's kind of exciting. That's, you know, it's not my favorite Kamen Rider, but I do like it. I do appreciate it.
Cool.
But it's very popular. So I get it, but I love the cosplay.
Well, it's interesting because even when you go to Comic-Con or something like that, you know, you'll see a bunch of people dressed up as Spider-Man, Superman, you know, Batman.
Right.
But then you see things that you just don't know what it is.
Right.
And like there's some people, it looks like there's some people dressed up as like game characters.
Yeah, anime or something like that. Yeah, game
But
characters.
It's neat because it's such a huge variety of
It is, yeah.
characters.
Well, there's so much stuff.
And I don't know if you guys saw this, but there's a guy in a Godzilla costume walking around.
No.
Is there really? Wow.
There is.
Is it a good costume?
It's the one that you can. It's something that
Oh, it's
I
one of
would
the- oh,
do,
it-
that I
Right,
would
right. Store-bought.
buy.
Oh,
and
it's store-bought.
Inflatable,
Okay, okay.
you know,
That's still-
one.
that's
and
cool.
That's cool.
I mean,
well, that's,
you know what I'd love to do? This is
What would you
be
like to
fun.
do?
If we guys, this would be great. If we all got in like the inflatable Godzilla, two of us got two of the Godzilla ones, and two got the King Kong ones, and we had a little battle. Wouldn't that be fun?
2 Godzillas and 2 Kongs?
Yeah.
Okay.
It could be like an alternate universe.
Or Godzilla Kong and Mecha Godzilla and Mecha Kong.
Ooh, yeah.
or, so you have 2 Kongs, 2 Godzillas, and then there is a bowl with some car keys in it. And so it's a wife swapping thing. And then so all of a sudden it seems like we're going to fight, but then we just start caressing and loving each other.
I
No,
like
no. See,
Why-
why do you bring it? I'm trying to.
Why don't you like affection?
Oh, because I want the monsters to fight. Because the monsters fight. That's why. I wanted to see us. You know, if we go to Sean's backyard or something, because he's
don't
got
like
a big
peace.
area, and we could all get in our big costumes. And we go and we could do a little battle. Sean, would that be fun?
We could shoot that video, and yeah, sure.
This
Okay,
it sounds
you know,
great.
Yeah, yes, I see. There's someone who just doesn't want to participate.
I do wanna participate,
I
but,
want to.
you
I just
know-
want
you know
to
what
drink my cocktail. That's
Well,
what I want to do.
there is that, yes. But one of the things that I was thinking for Comic-Con cosplay, what if we were all the Dorats?
Oh, wow. But there's only 3.
Yeah.
Well, no,
a
because
bonus.
Jim gave us a 4th one.
Jim Jenkins made us
right.
a wonderful gift of paper Dorats that he created from hand that are amazing. And there's 4 of them because there's 4 of us. But let's remember, from Ghidorah the 3, what was it?
Godzilla versus King
You don't even
Ghidorah.
know what the movie is.
Oh.
Wow.
It's early, guys.
It's already dead to you.
It's early. There were 3 Dorats because they became King Ghidorah, the 3-headed monster.
Right.
Right.
So maybe we could do, if we did a cosplay, it would be the 3 Dorats and maybe the robot guy, the android.
Why
Oh,
is,
yeah.
what,
Or
you guys
Godzilla.
are the most conservative, and I mean that in the sense of that, like, you guys, the idea of just, hey, let's add a 4th one, because that's what Jim did. Why not just do that? Why do we gotta, like, oh no, well, there are only 3, so
But
it's
one of
not
us is gonna be the car that they came in, or like what?
I'm trying to think outside the box here. I'm
You're not
spitballing.
you're thinking within the box.
Oh.
You know, I'm okay. I'm okay with that.
You
but
are not okay.
No, I'm okay with it. But I'm just looking at the Dorat. How would I make that costume? You know,
Well,
how would
you're gonna
I-
have to think about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
See, I
You see, and then again, now you're the one who's raining on the parade of like, I don't know, that might take some work. I might have to think about it for a second.
No, I don't mind.
Why don't you just go to Target and buy your
Yeah,
shitty little costume?
Okay. First of all, I wouldn't get it at Target. You know, I did it
Oh,
at
you
something
get
like Halloween Town. or
Oh,
something
well,
like
that's
that,
completely
you know?
different. Great. So you're buying the same costume for 3
Okay.
times as much money.
Okay,
Great.
now look, I know where Matt's getting here. You know, because look, there are people out there. No, well, listeners know.
I don't know where I'm going,
Yes, you
so,
do.
yeah.
Yes, you do. There are people who spend a lot of time working and crafting at their
Yes, that's
cosplay
true.
outfit.
Sure.
Yeah.
And there are people out there that are great. They're really, really
Yes.
great. I don't know how great my Dorak costume would look. And if
Well, what
I
if we
try-
got what if we consulted, say, someone like a Ted Haynes and said, if
Oh,
you were
yeah.
going to do
Did
this.
you say insult him?
No, consult him.
Oh.
You will insult him. I will consult him. Because at some point you'll go, well, I already have that. So, yeah. But maybe he has a way that there's, an easy to put on mask or something like that where it conveys the Dorak.
Right.
Yeah, well, they don't have.
okay,
They also
well-
don't have arms, really. They have
Right,
wings.
that's true.
So,
We have to have our arms
okay,
in the wing.
We could
Right.
do like a puppet thing almost. Like it's our face through like a foam little body of the Dorak. And then we're
Yeah.
wearing black whatever
Leotard?
under it. No, it doesn't have to be a leotard if you want to wear one.
Spandex?
I've been waiting to get you in a leotard, but that's
I have a
just me.
spandex outfit.
Of course you do.
It's kind
It's
of
what you wore in high school.
No, that's Angel Flight pants.
Angel Flights.
That's another story.
Okay.
actually, you know what a fun cosplay might be is Matango, to be mushroom people.
Ooh, yeah,
I do like that.
I've never
Well,
seen that before.
Yeah, the
there are
big
these
heads.
at one of these booths that we're looking at right now. They have these different Matango heads, and they look like one looks like a mask, and the other one is a bust.
Yeah.
But they're so great. I'm sure they're 4,000
Yeah,
apiece,
well,
but
yeah.
but they are beautiful, and that's one where it would be nice to have a slip-on mask. One of those ones where it fits really tightly, so you can the latex sticks kind of to your mouth. So the minute you've got it on, it's almost like an appliance.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
and the eyes are set, so they
And the
don't
eyes
look
are
like
set,
eyes
right.
in a mask.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fun. You've been waiting to do a mushroom people cosplay, right?
And, well,
You
know,
could just be a mushroom.
if you're listening to this, and I'm
How
sure
would
you're saying
They
that.
are- it's not an if.
No.
Because if they're not listening to this, they're
Yes.
doing something else, or they're
Yes.
sitting in silence.
Yes. Monster Party
What's
Podcast.
happening?
Check us out. I'm just saying.
I swear
I'm
to you,
just
folks,
saying-
the podcast is not normally like this.
No, it's there's arguing. Yeah, well,
You know what? You could cosplay as the boat that they came in on.
I know this is
Giant
what,
bike.
this is
We'll
what
be
I
the-
want
I like
to
it,
say.
Sean.
We'll be the
I want to
Matango.
be
Do you
Kumi
have a moment?
Mizuno,
Have you ever
Really?
seen Attack of the Mushroom People?
I have not. That's
otherwise
actually-
known
that
as
sounds pretty
Matango. I think you'd like it.
Yeah, it's kind of it's kaiju related because it's got
It's Toho.
Yeah,
It's a horror Toho.
mushroom monster people.
They eat mushrooms and they turn into these crazy creatures. In fact, if you look at that booth over there, one of the mutated heads on the top there,
Mutated heads.
that's one of the mushroom people.
Yeah,
But then
you
they
got-
go even farther than that.
I see the Godzilla foot over there. That's kind of cool.
That is.
Wait, do you
what
have
does
a
that
moment?
remind you
Would
of?
you like a moment? What's your name?
Nicholas,
Nicholas, and what's your name, sir?
Darren?
And are you guys
Hi, Darren.
big kaiju fans?
I am actually a Godzilla fan. I love Godzilla.
All right.
I love the Dragon Zord from Power Rangers, which is mimicked after Godzilla.
Sure.
So I mean, the King of the Monsters, King Kong, all of them, they're great.
Now, are you a fan too?
I haven't watched them yet, but I'm planning to soon.
Good.
And it's just because I've had school and all that, I haven't really been able to watch them.
I totally understand.
That
are
is
you
a
more
responsible
of
young man.
Are you more of a Star Wars fan?
I do like Star Wars. I like the Marvel, Star Wars. I like stuff like that, so I'm pretty excited to watch Godzilla and all the movies.
Well, it looks like you're doing a good job here.
Trying to. By the way, this one's not mine. This one,
I don't know who this kid is.
some weird kid I'm taking around the
Yeah. I think he's trying to take my wallet.
Are you the uncle?
No, actually, a family friend. So I've known him since he was before he came out.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Nice.
You're just trying to show him, show him some other thing.
expose them to this
Yeah,
cool
I mean,
stuff.
It was weird. There's 2 events my team is doing today, so we came to this one. We have another team, but I asked him if he wanted to attend with me. So we actually have a booth out front right here.
Oh,
nice.
We're
nice.
actually here
Okay.
with you guys just
Oh,
walking
great.
around.
Oh, cool.
What booth is
What is it?
We're at the Nerd Mafia booth.
Nerd Mafia.
Oh,
nice.
Bird Mafia's got the T-shirt.
So explain what Nerd Mafia is.
Nerd Mafia is a southern-based cosplay fan-based community.
Ah, we were
Cosplay.
just talking about cosplay.
So today we're actually hosting the costume contest for the event today.
Oh,
Nice.
fun.
So
Awesome.
we're doing the sign-ups right now at our booth. Later on, about 3:45, we'll line everybody up, and then at 4 o'clock, we'll begin the judging, and then we'll give out some awards.
Can I ask you a
Nice.
question?
Yes, sir.
I want to know what kind of costumes you're seeing. Are you getting a lot of Kamen Rider? Are you getting a lot of Ultraman, Power Rangers?
Well, Super Sentai, we've gotten a few.
Super
We did get a
Sentai,
Godzilla.
okay.
There is a Godzilla walking around the show right now.
Yeah.
And I told him if I knew you were coming to the door, I probably would have played Here Comes the Boom. And he was just laughing in the costume. But we've gotten a variation of cool people,
Sure.
especially from Power Rangers to
Wow.
Super Sentai to Godzilla.
Great.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
Great.
it's always cool to see everybody like go to the theme of the show and then sign up and they have those costumes. But we do get a couple people that'll show up that are and not even themed. They just like to dress up as whatever.
Right.
Like what?
Let's say it's Godzilla themed here, so we'll probably get like a G.I. Joe guy. Someone will just come in and they'll be dressed like that. Yeah.
Nice.
We'll get someone to be from Army of Darkness, and it's like, wait, this isn't that type of horror event, but hey, welcome, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
We open it to
Frankenfurter.
everybody. Yeah, and it's great to see all that.
Now,
Yeah.
you're a Godzilla fan. Do you have a Godzilla collection at home?
I have, well, I wouldn't say collection. I have an original Dragon Zord, and then I have one of the new Godzillas from the new movie. And I have them like sitting face by face on the bookshelf where they're just looking at each other. And then today
That's
I
cool.
walked in, they gave me a print of Godzilla versus the Dragon Zord.
Wow.
And I'm
Cool.
like, oh, this is so cool. I'm going to frame this and put this in the back of them. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
That's great.
I mean, that kind of just made my morning.
That's awesome.
That is so great.
I have one additional question here, which
One
is
additional-
we were talking about that Godzilla foot over there.
Oh,
Godzilla
When
foot.
you look at that, what do you think of?
Pedicure.
That would be great in the window of a
Right.
a manicure pedicure
I mean,
place.
personally, if I had both of them, I would walk with them around if they were slippers.
Yeah,
Wow.
totally.
I would be
You
walking
can
around the
get
event
those,
if
can't
could.
you?
I have
would,
I have a pair of
100%.
Yeah?
Godzilla
Oh, I have
slippers.
those
Yes,
too.
Yes,
I have
yes.
those.
Yeah,
I have the hands.
the hands. There you go. I think he has the Hulk hands. So
Wow.
Nice.
Those are cool.
Cool.
They make the sound like when you hit them.
Yeah.
Those are cool.
Those are awesome.
Well, guys, I want to thank you so much for stopping
Yeah,
by the
yeah.
booth. Enjoy the rest of the show, okay? Thanks
Thank
a
you.
minute, guys.
Thank
Thanks
you.
a-
Cheers.
thanks
Have a good
buddy.
one. So someone
cool.
who's just showed up in a
Yes.
great now. That's a Kamen Rider game.
Gaim.
Game.
Thank you.
It's a great costume. I'm just curious. Have you talked to Kamen Rider Gaim?
Not
Here?
yet, but I'm heading to an ATM because I could buy a ticket to it, but it's only cash or PayPal.
Oh, I see. Oh.
And PayPal is a $10 service fee, so I think I'm going to go with cash. I'm going to have to search for an ATM somewhere.
I think there are some around, like in the
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the hotel area.
Well, can you tell me a bit about this costume and which character is it you knew?
Kamen Rider
Yeah.
Gaim. I always murder the pronunciation of all these names, but
So the chest piece is actually from a separate costume I did in 2021 for the Suicide Squad, Bloodsport.
oh, cool.
Oh, cool.
So I cannibalized the chest part and turned it into this. Let's
Nice.
see, I put these large buttons from Michaels and used it as sort of that rivet sort of.
Right,
Yeah, I
right.
like that.
Yeah. Looks good.
And I guess, and what is your name again?
Nathan,
Nathan. And the belt, is that something you made or is that something you can get?
it's something you can get. It was a DX that I got in 2017.
Cool.
Well, I think you
How
look
much does-
amazing. This is really great.
Are you?
How much does a belt like that run these days? Like, are there? Because
I think I got this used for $45.
oh, nice.
Wow.
nice.
That's good.
But the best part about this costume
Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Gonna show us.
that is the fact that these touchscreen gloves can operate my phone.
Oh,
What?
that is awesome. Well, you look great.
Yeah, you look fantastic.
Now, have you been to this convention before?
Power Morphicon, yes.
Power
This
Morphicon.
place, no.
Do you usually do cosplay when you go to the conventions?
It makes me feel more at home here.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah.
You know, we did my buddy and I, we did cosplay for the first time at Comic-Con this year. And, there was something really cool about, getting the costume and people stopping you and having people take photos.
Sure.
It's,
That's the thing.
and it makes you feel like, hey, I did something here. And it's neat to be acknowledged.
All right.
And now, did you make the mask yourself?
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. No,
really
it
cool.
really works. The whole thing
You know
works.
what, Nathan? Here's the other thing I've noticed about you in this costume, too. You actually look like you just jumped out of the show. Some people like me, if I were to try on that, I'm a little pudgy. I'd look like, after a few years of this character, hey, I've been drinking or something. But you look
You'd have to play
great.
like Gamera or
Yeah,
something.
I could do Gamera.
As he
Gamera's the
sneers.
giant turtle. The giant turtle.
Yes, but Can you breathe fire?
Well,
Well, okay. Well,
give him enough drinks.
What if I had like a little silly string that?
Yeah.
I think you could attempt the effect if you took a shot of vodka and then spit it out.
See, this guy this guy like the,
I like
the
that.
Gene Simmons from Kiss kind of approach.
Yeah, yeah.
That
Hey.
just doesn't seem very safe, Nathan.
No, you know what? But he's a
Like the
risk
theatrics
taker.
of it.
I like him. I like the cut of his jib.
I just like the theatrics of it.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I
I'm
agree.
with you. Hey, are you a fan of the other shows as well?
Yeah.
Of Kamen Rider?
I've seen Super Sentai. I like the theme songs a lot more, but
Yes,
I'm
yeah.
still very attached to Power Rangers since that was one of the first ones.
Right, of course.
Right.
I think my brothers had the old VHSs that they used.
Right.
Remember VHS, everybody?
Yeah.
Dude, now do you have a collection at home of any items?
The belts, mainly. A Legacy Power Morpher. That one was an expensive one.
How much that run you?
200.
Wow, okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Now Matt is a big Ultraman fan, and he has a beautiful mask, and we're trying to.
I have an
he's-
Ultra 7 mask.
Yeah, and he's got to do the costume, you know.
I do. I bought like a spandex thing, but I need to, go to fat camp.
Yeah. You know.
Nice.
Well, Nathan, I
only it
want to
worked
thank
that
you.
way.
Thank you so much for stopping by. I
Yeah.
think your outfit looks amazing.
Yeah, you look great.
Yeah.
I hope you have a great time here at the con.
All right. By the way, what are you guys' names again? I never.
That's Larry. I'm Matt. That's Sean.
And please take a
James.
flyer.
Larry, thank you, Matt. Thank you, Sean, and thank you, James.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nathan. Isn't that fun? Isn't that
Great.
fun? You know,
Great kid.
If anything, it's inspired me to try to maybe go to fat camp so I can.
We should go.
But but then the other side of me is, it would be easier just to be Gamera or Godzilla, and do that little fight.
You could be the legendary Godzilla.
Right.
Yes, he's the big thighs.
Or the animated one, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen
No,
that.
Then you
I
could
don't
actually, you'd have to
know.
put on weight.
No, yeah, but then I just be,
That's perfect, Larry.
All right, that's great. So, guys, I'm standing here, and then who walks by? It's an animation director. This is Kyle Carosa.
Hello. Hi, Kyle.
Kyle, and you are a big. You love kaiju stuff. You love anime stuff.
Yeah, I love Japanese superheroes. I've been a big tokusatsu nut since roughly 2011.
Yeah, and you are an animation director.
Yes, absolutely.
And you've done a lot of cool, funky animation stuff, like the Magis.
Yeah, if you watch my show Mighty Magiswords and you know your tokusatsu, the big voice guy who screams stuff is exactly like, putting stuff in the belts and having it scream back at you.
Right.
So
Cool,
when it goes
cool.
like, Dolphin Magisword, it's, absolutely inspired by accessing powers in tokusatsu.
And the
Nice.
sword actually turns into a dolphin, right? It's great. But what other stuff have you been doing lately that you can talk about?
The most recent credit that I can actually talk about was doing some storyboards for the Snoopy show for Apple TV, which was
Wow.
a lot of fun.
Cool.
But yeah, I just wrapped up on something at Nickelodeon that I can't talk about. But yeah, also did some boards on the most recent, the Animaniacs reboot. That was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Doing
Yeah.
animation for a long time. Yes. but so the other thing that I learned about you, though, you're not only like a creative genius and wizard and stuff, but you play a musical instrument.
I do. I have a, one band except for live band called TV's Kyle. I record, ridiculous, catchy songs. Dr. Demento plays me on occasion.
Wow.
And
Nice.
although, my wife over here, Lindsay, joins me in the live shows as under the name Linzilla. She's my dinosaur live mate.
Nice.
And yeah, we.
Don't you play an accordion?
Yeah, I play the accordion.
Wow.
People don't think that the accordion, what happened to the accordion? Well, it's still out there.
The accordion is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up loving Weird Al and They Might Be Giants, and so I just kind of love how the accordion sounds in rock music, and so I adopted that as well.
Rock music, Larry.
Yes, with an accordion. It gives it some different, that gives it something special.
Yes, it does.
Hey,
Yeah.
man, go listen to The Statue Got Me High by They Might Be Giants and tell me that accordion doesn't rock.
Of course. Yes. Yeah.
Now, every once in a while, I know you kind of do these shows. If someone was interested in trying to check you out, to playing the accordion or something, where would they go?
Oh, well, follow me at TV's Kyle on X, I guess we're supposed to say.
Yes.
And also on Instagram, and I have a TV's Kyle account on Facebook. But those last two places are the best places to follow me to see whatever it is I'm up to, including live shows.
That is awesome. Well, thank you so much for stopping by, and I wish you much success on this show that you can't talk about, but we look forward. You do great stuff. I look forward to checking it out.
Thanks, Larry.
So, guys, this is a treat for me because I am now sitting with an old friend of mine who is an amazing writer and comedian. We worked together on the show The Dish with Daniel Fishel.
Right.
It's Penelope Lombard.
Yes.
Welcome.
Hey,
Penelope.
Well, here you are at this convention, and we spent some time together. I got to
Yes.
know you, and I have to say that I don't remember this being really your jam.
No.
The giant monster sentai guys in
know
suits.
they had this.
Yeah.
But this is a little overwhelming.
Of course it is. Yeah, you're walking around. There are
I thought
people
it
in
was going to be
suits.
all Hello Kitty.
Like Sanrio, Hello Kitty, and Cinema Roll.
Yeah, that's what I thought this was for. And
I'm sure.
There's a few cinema rolls around here.
a little bit, but
If
not
you
a
dressed
lot.
up Hello Kitty, I think that would have been really
Oh my God, that would have been so good to
amazing.
see you dressed
Yeah,
up
I
as
think-
Hello Kitty.
Yeah,
Yes, I would have liked that.
I have a sexy Hello Kitty costume in the car.
Okay.
But I just in
Then
case
I'm
of
in.
emergencies.
I'm in it.
But
Yeah.
you're like a Hello Kitty fan.
Right, I am a Hello Kitty fan, yes. And there's
there-
not a lot of that here.
No.
There are some neat things. Are you learning some things?
Well, yes. I mean, I don't know the names of most of these things.
There's a lot of names.
Do you know Godzilla?
Yes, because my friend was Godzilla.
And,
No,
and your
wait,
friend
what?
is.
What?
Tell us about
These-
this.
Your friend
in the
is.
movies, yes. Is Kurt CARLEY.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was also a sleeve stack.
Wait, that's a classic Slee Stack?
Well, maybe not the very first sleeve stack ever.
The movie.
Oh.
That's all right.
I know.
Well,
But
I
the
know.
Slee Stacks in that movie, though,
They're
did look
great.
very, very close to the original Slee Stacks.
I like
in
the Slee Stacks.
in the '70s show.
Oh, and he was another monster that I thought was going to be cuter. Oh, he was a werewolf. And
Werewolf?
yeah, and it is not cute.
well, sometimes the werewolves have to be scary.
Oh,
It's
this
not
was
like Hello
definitely
Kitty.
that.
What do you expect? A werewolf wearing a little bow in its hair and going, oh.
No, I expected him to be fluffier, more well-fed, rounder, and that sometimes they do a little circle and then curl up in a ball.
Oh,
Yeah.
I want to see that werewolf movie. Yeah. And you know what? You brought up a very good point about werewolves, is that werewolves, especially in this day and age, when somebody turns into a werewolf, they always seem a little more emaciated, like they're
Right.
like, hey, eat carbs now. It's okay.
Exactly. Have some Cheetos.
Yeah.
But actually, this is really interesting. And
It's-
some people are dressed up. Are they dressed up as a specific monster, or
Okay.
did they kind of invent it at home?
From what I've seen so far, most of them are based on existing characters.
Yes.
Okay.
Some of this is maybe anime too, and there's so
Okay,
much
yeah.
anime that you can't.
Right.
I couldn't
Yeah.
keep track of the names. Now, you being at this convention, walking around, is there any of this that you go like, hey, you know what? That looks interesting. I'm gonna see what that's all about. I'm gonna look this thing up and
Well, I gotta get
answer
the names.
honestly.
I was hoping to see Kimba.
Love Kimba.
I love Kimba.
Do you know the song? Kimba the White Lion is his name.
Who lives down in deepest, darkest Africa? Africa.
That sounds familiar, but I more remember just Kimba. But I will say, until my adulthood, even though it was called Kimba the White Lion, I
Right.
thought Kimba was a lamb.
I could see that.
I don't
could-
see that.
Well, white
I-
and
It's
come on.
Kimba the White Lion.
I know, but that.
Hello.
I know, but,
if you're a
but that
kid-
lion doesn't really look all that like with the giant ears and everything.
Yes.
It's.
Yeah.
I think I'm
More
with you.
I know. I know. You've been drinking too much of
No,
the
hey,
juice
I
here.
accept it because it's a cartoon, so they exaggerate things. I still like it, but I can understand how someone walking in the middle
Yeah.
going, why is this lamb
I like
in the lion
lambs. I
cartoon?
like lambs a lot. It's very cute. And I did think I was watching a show about a just particularly stealthy, adaptable, a
Lot of charisma.
heroic lamb.
A lamb in Africa.
Well, I hadn't been there.
You've never heard of the African lamb?
It's ferocious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned that from Wild Kingdom.
Yes.
Well, Penelope, great to reconnect with you, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of the con. Are you going to stay here till the end?
Come away with a new appreciation, for all thing Japanese hero thing.
Oh, I have. I mean, hopefully after this convention, when they have some free time, they'll just kind of spread out into Burbank.
That's what we're hoping
and I really
for,
hope
too.
they're going to solve some of the crime issues.
Yeah.
I think there are some people that don't feed the meter downtown, and maybe they could get on that.
That's true.
Forget about battling giant monsters.
Yeah.
Help out someone trying to get some parking spaces.
Exactly.
Well, Penelope, thank you so much for stopping by. It was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thanks
and
a
Hello
lot.
Kitty rules.
I know.
Great. And you know what I love, Matt? Hey!
Okay,
look,
stop
see,
it.
Look
Stop
who
it.
just
Will you
stopped
stop
by.
that?
But this is so great. Look who stopped
sorry,
by
Scott,
our booth. Scott Zilner.
Scott Zilner, who invited
charge,
us.
Yes, to this amazing convention. We are so thrilled to be a part of it. Thank you so much.
Can you just verify something for me? The fact that you were already here before he introduced you. So when he did this, hey, oh my God, oh look what we have here.
But I'm
Nobody can see that.
Yes, no one can see
true.
that. Thanks for playing the game,
You've
Matt
destroyed the
Reinhold.
illusion.
I thought that you didn't like lying. That's all. But anyway, Scott,
It's not lying if it's on radio.
that's true.
It's
true.
called
Okay.
theater.
Okay,
That's
all
true.
right.
So it's so neat. We had Scott stop by MONSTERPALOOZA. We ran
Yes,
into
we
him
did.
at
That's right.
Comic-Con. And here, this is your show.
Yeah, this is one of the many shows that I run in the Los Angeles area, and we do the show every other year. So all of you that missed out on it this year, you're like, oh, I'll catch it next year. You got to wait an extra year for that.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. But this has been a lot of
Yes.
fun.
Super
This is
fun,
really cool.
very exciting. The people that we've met have been just delightful.
We love our
Our
spot.
booth
The
is
spot
across
is
from all
great.
these awesome
We've been
celebrities.
able to look at these people who we love these people.
And
Yes.
I'm to be looking at Hiroko Sakurai and the fact that this was someone I was in love with when I was
Ultraman
6.
royalty.
oh,
Exactly.
absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It's just crazy and surreal, and so we got to thank you.
Yes.
No problem. I'm just really glad that I was able to do this and get you guys out to one of my events. Certainly, we've talked about it on multiple occasions.
Oh, yeah.
and
Yes.
We finally put it together. So
Yes.
thank you
Yeah.
guys for coming out.
And
Yeah.
and what are the other shows that you do, though?
I do a plethora of
Yeah.
shows. A
Yeah.
plethora, Hefe.
Plethora.
A plethora.
that's a good word.
He got the joke. Of course, some of my bigger shows are Power Morphicon,
Yeah.
Pasadena Comic Con, Robo Toy Fest. I do some smaller shows up in Simi Valley Toy and Comic Fest, Megabit Game Expo, which is September 10th.
Wow.
ToonCon, which is ToonCon, which is currently staying at an unannounced October 8th.
Interesting.
So that's an animation festival, which we will have here in Burbank at the Convention Center right after the
Nice.
Hollywood show.
Yeah, we've
okay.
been
Stay an
into
extra day and
Tunes.
do
Sure.
ToonCon
Yeah.
on Sunday. Those are some. And then in Sacramento, I do Sac ToyCon. Japan World Heroes is every other year. Power Morphicon is every other year. Power Morphicon Express is random. So we do Power Morphicon Express in other cities and states. And then with Movie Busters, I do another event service called Movie Busters. And that's where we do theater showings in Sacramento and coming to LA, where we'll have like a small dealer area, guests doing autographs for a couple hours. Then we do a Q&A on the stage, and then we watch the movies. So that's Movie Buster events.
Is it like vintage films or
Yeah, so like we literally had to cancel recently because of SAG.
Sure, yeah.
The WGA SAG after a strike. We had to cancel a Gremlins event in Sacramento.
Oh, okay.
As soon as we get the strike stuff worked out, everyone's crossing their fingers on that.
Yeah. Right.
We will reschedule that for Sacramento and maybe look at doing an LA date for it as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's cool. That's cool. I like the idea of like a theme, like a film screening, but also like merchandise and stuff.
Yeah,
That's
so it's
cool.
going to be like a little mini convention for 4 hours, and
That's
then
cool.
bam, we have a Q&A on stage,
I like
and
that.
then bam, we show the movies. Like it's
That's cool.
a lot of fun that way.
That's a cool idea.
That sounds terrific. I mean, the fact that you can keep all of this straight.
In your
You know,
head.
like this,
Yeah,
I mean,
really.
those are so many events and so much, I would think, to organize. The fact that you can do it all
But you
is,
know-
first of all, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And thank you for giving us a panel too, because this is
panel
actually
was fun,
our
yes.
first panel.
Oh,
Yeah, it's our
awesome.
first panel,
That's
and-
great.
It
That's
was
great.
small but mighty.
Yes, we've
There we
always
go.
wanted to do
Yeah.
them, so this is a great,
The crowd,
great way to start.
The
kind of.
crowd, the people that we had there, I mean, they were getting
They were
into
into
it.
it, yeah.
And
Yeah.
and some people, which was really interesting, threw out some things about certain powers of certain characters that Matt would remember. You were like,
Well,
oh,
there was a
well,
couple
There's a
things where it's
contention.
like it was kind of what I was worried about. Is that, when you get the nerd expert who knows everything.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely. Especially in our niche industries.
Yes, yeah.
The fans know more than licensing experts.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's true. That's
I
true.
know from my time at Gentle Giant and working on Star Wars projects.
Yeah.
I wrote the Bibles in the library on what color tones certain things should be. This is
Wow.
how you can tell an Empire Strikes Back from a Return of the Jedi Vader and so on.
Wow.
I wrote all those notes, and then somebody tried to argue me one time. I said, go into the war room, grab the book on Star Wars, and on page 13, you tell me what it says. And they're like, how do you know it's on page 13? I'm like, because I wrote page 13.
Nice.
oh,
Yeah.
don't you wish real life was like that? You know, you,
See, sometimes when it comes to the experts, we had this guy who, and everybody was great, and
Yeah, yeah.
everybody was very knowledgeable,
Engaged.
But when they start to talk about like the original Kamen Rider and what powers he had, and they go, oh, this guy can punch with the force of 50 tons or
Tons,
something
yeah.
like that. And it's like
50 tons. Can you tell me what 50 tons translates to grasshoppers? Like 50 tons of power is X amount of grasshoppers?
Right. Well, and also, I don't really remember that being discussed actually on the air in the
the
episode.
show, right.
Now, I'm sure there's a book somewhere or a video game where they extrapolate, but
Right.
you know what? But I loved the fact that these guys were schooling us every once in a while.
it was a fun panel.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It
And
was fun.
getting back to Scott and his organized mind, I know because he's got this amazing toy collection and everything is lined up. And I'm sure he does these conventions like he's got his toys lined up. That's what I think.
I have
Organization.
almost like a photonymic mind. So if I see images, I can then remember those images.
Oh, wow.
And so that helps me in my painting world. I'm an artist and designer in the toy industry. And that helps me when I go to do Darth Vader, and it's like, oh, well, no, on his shoulder pads, it's not silver, it's gunmetal. But then in this scene, it's not gunmetal because it was reflecting, so you had to use silver. And I will know those little
yeah.
tidbits because my mind can remember
Yeah,
that image exactly.
like a design photographic memory.
It's not photographic. Photographic means you remember everything instantaneously, recall.
Right.
Photonemic is I remember that looking exactly like this, but you moved it so it no longer looks like that.
I see.
Right.
I know something
Okay.
is wrong.
You know the
Got it.
differences, yeah.
Now,
But,
Scott, if someone wanted, because you've mentioned a lot of conventions, if someone wants to check out, what are those conventions you represent?
Yeah.
Where can they go?
If you go to any of our conventions like Japan World Heroes or Power Morphicon, Robo Toy Fest, there's a link on there that says all events links.
Oh, cool.
And so I put that on all of my websites, and it's literally like some of us know the old web rings. It literally takes you to a web ring. We're like, oh, here's all of my other sites and all of the other tickets and when the events happen.
Nice.
Cool.
And, now, with your toy stuff, do you have any of that is coming up that you can talk about?
I just did a piece recently with Tweeterhead, a new Batman statue.
Okay.
So there's a Tweeterhead exclusive blue version at tweeterhead.com, and then the black version's at Sideshow. And then at PowerCon the other week, we announced Panthro of Thundercats. I just painted that for Tweeterhead as well, and that comes out in a pre-order probably later this month.
And how did you
Nice.
get into this?
yeah.
And there's another funny thing is so I was painting model kits for sale back in the 90s at shows.
Okay.
And I was sitting next to the artist for the model kits. And he's
Oh,
like, oh,
okay.
well, they want a new painter for model kits. And so I sent them Polaroids in the mail or, and got the right guy. And then I did a couple model kits for that. And then Comic-Con a couple years later, I showed my portfolio around and got a job in Los Angeles as a statue painter and extended that out from one company to the entire industry. And I've been working at that straight since 2005.
Fantastic.
Wow.
17,
That's awesome.
17 years in LA as a painter, and I've never I've never had a year without work.
That's great.
Wow.
Is it, I mean,
That's awesome.
how great is it to be living your dream?
I tell people it means you're poor most of the time, but when you do work, it's good.
And by the way, I noticed outside, speaking of your toy collection, there's a couple of pieces that were brought here that belong to you.
Yeah.
On the corner, there's a giant robot
There's
thing.
I have a Ginaman Megazord that's a toy store display from Japan.
I'm so jealous when I saw
that's
that.
what
But
that
also
is.
on the other end, I'm like, who's cardboard standee?
I have a Godzilla 85
and he
standee.
goes, oh, it belongs to Godzilla. And I'm like, darn. That was
Well-
I remember seeing that in the theater.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I wanted to take it, and of course,
Yeah.
you're so lucky.
I've got lots of treasure, yes.
Yes, you do have treasures.
Speaking of which, now, not that we're trying to be too forward here, but boy, would we like to see your place.
And we could do a show,
I tell you guys this, I do a very discreet invite-only party once a year.
Oh,
All right.
okay.
I will inform you guys of said invite private party.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
And let you come out and see the
We won't be
the
trouble.
treasure hoard.
No, we
We drink responsibly.
We would be honored.
Yes,
We'd
yes,
be
yes.
honored because we love. We all have collections.
Yes,
we do.
Some are
Yes, we do.
well.
There's
They're all good collections.
There's collections.
We are all-
He's still-
There's
No,
collections, there's collectors, and then there's mega collectors.
Yes.
True.
And I
Yes.
fall into that mega collector bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Matt's a mega collector.
No. Here's how I wipe mega. You want to think you're a mega? What's the highest amount you ever spent for a single item?
Yeah, that's a good
as an
question.
impulse buy.
As an impulse, wow.
I don't know.
I
You
know.
saw it and you're like,
What?
okay, I'm going to buy that.
It was. I know what it was. It
So-
was the battery operated Gigan.
But here's my question though: to be a mega collector, do you
I
have
spent
to?
$10,000 to buy a 1984 Freightliner because it looked like Optimus Prime.
Okay, so I'm not that big. Okay,
But so
okay,
it-
you beat me, Scott.
No,
you beat
wait
me.
a minute though. But I want to know: does
I'm admitting he beat me. Isn't this a milestone?
That's growing.
no.
But no, because like there's so many other people that beat you as well. Guillermo del Toro beat the pants off you.
Oh well, he's
And Del Toro does beat me occasionally on buying things. Then to trump that a little bit, next to my DeLoreans, I do have the tip of a Saturn V rocket.
okay. Who's got
So-
that?
So now that's
do you have that?
That's a mega
That
collector.
is. He is a
But
mega
to be a mega collector, do you have to have spent a lot of money on things?
You have to be able to never ask your wife for permission to buy something. And
Right.
when people say, well, what's your budget monthly? You say there is no such thing as a budget. I'm going to buy whatever I see is
right.
whatever I want.
That's
Wow.
a mega.
I'm
That's
out.
yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah.
I guess. I'm
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
You have to just be able to walk by that thing and go, yeah, I'm going to grab it.
But I dream of being that guy. I dream of being you.
It's called being financially irresponsible. There's a word for
I
it.
used to be that guy,
Yeah.
and then I got married.
Yeah, so you're no longer financially irresponsible.
Right.
No.
I'm not married. I am financially irresponsible.
Although my wife is great. Like,
Yeah,
there
yeah.
are so
So
many
is mine,
times
yeah.
where it's
Can
just
you
like,
come home with a Freightliner and say you bought it because it looks like a Transformer?
I can't bring home a Freightliner.
Then
no.
you are financially responsible.
I guess.
yeah. Take
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Although I remember being at Creature Features when they had the store.
Oh, yeah, right.
And someone had made this great kit of the Gargantuas. This beautiful
yes,
kit. It was like
yes.
a diorama.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
with trees
Tanks,
and all kinds of
yeah.
stuff, and it was great. And I always wanted a really good Gargantuas
Yeah,
thing.
everybody does.
Oh,
Yeah,
everybody does.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of
Who
course.
doesn't?
So I call my wife and I'm like, and we were a little bit overextended. And I go, and Taylor is a wonderful guy, and he wants to give it to me for $50.
Oh my God.
No, I'm sorry, $100.
Okay,
$100.
You just spend the $100.
$100.
Wow,
but
Isn't that in your wallet for emergency toy funds?
at
all times?
You live a whole nother life. You're like
I have a pocket for emergency toy money.
you're like James Bond of
Yeah.
you got a license to buy.
Yeah, you're really.
But that's a good idea to have that
There's an extra.
sewn into your
I have an extra pocket in my wallet, and it's emergency toy money.
Wow.
But you called your wife and you said, "It's $100. I'm getting a deal."
She
And
said, "Get it."
She said, "Get it."
So
Well, there
I mean
you go.
that's not every wife.
Yeah, but
Right,
I
right,
don't.
yeah.
I don't even have a budget. Like I'll just. Oh, I don't have that much money. Well, I'll find a way to make that much money somehow and
He
cover
doesn't
the
have to
bills.
make that
Sell
call.
your plasma, something. You'll do it.
I will just sometimes with being a mega collector, I can sometimes just I guess I'll get rid of that third, something I have lying around.
I do that. I do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure,
I'm like,
sure.
okay, this is how I'm going to pay for it.
I'm going to pay for it some way.
Right.
But you don't let it go. And you don't ask permission. You just buy it.
Well, we are honored, Scott, to be talking to the
and
mega
it's been so
collector,
fun.
Scott ZILNER.
Yeah.
And
No,
thank you.
we bowed down.
And look, thank you for inviting us to the
Yes,
show. This
yes.
has been an absolute joy for us. We loved being a part of this.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys came out. I'm glad you had a great time. I'm thankful to all the guests, attendees, vendors, everybody that came out to make Japan World Heroes such a success. We haven't had the show since 2019 because of COVID.
Yeah.
It's an every other year event. So we didn't have 2021. We're back here at 2023, and we'll bring it back again for 2025.
Well, hopefully we can come back for the next
we need to
run.
do any show that you'd like us at. We're there.
But before that, hopefully we can go to that special toy party.
You're already thinking about that.
The private party.
The private party.
Yeah, I want to touch the rocket.
No,
and it's not what you think.
No.
Oh, trust me, I know it is what I think.
That's later. That's later
Scott,
in the evening.
Scott, thanks so much for taking some time to speak with us. I really appreciate it.
No
Thanks
problem.
again.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Thank you very
buddy.
much.
Guys, you know what I love?
What do you love?
I love actors who are creature actors.
Me too.
That's what I love. And we just happen to be right down the road here, or down the row from another creature actor.
Yes, we are.
And he's done a bunch of stuff from Predator and Godzilla. And we have with us Kurt CARLEY.
Kurt CARLEY.
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
Kurt.
All right.
So, thank you for making a little bit of time for us here.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thanks for inviting me. I'm having a wonderful time here today.
No, isn't it neat? You see these fans, and when they talk to you, and they go, "Oh, you were that creature," and they get thrilled, and they talk to you about it, and they have to ask all these questions.
Yes. Yes, that happens sometimes. Yes. Yes. Everybody's really lovely, and it's really fun, and they ask very specific questions about, like in this scene, what was happening, and what day of the week did you shoot it on?
Oh, wow.
Et cetera.
How many scales does Godzilla have?
Exactly.
Here's the thing that people don't understand, Kurt, is people think, oh, we'll just put any actor in a costume. But the truth of the matter is, when they put you in a costume, it's not comfortable, it's claustrophobic, but I take it you don't have any problems with that.
I don't have any claustrophobia problems. I don't have any problems with being uncomfortable for many hours a day, many days a week.
Right, into the night.
That kind of comes with the territory. I will say this. The wonderful men and women, the craftspeople who make these suits, they do the absolute best job they can to make it as comfortable as possible. But, if, for example, if you had to hold your arm above your head for 5 hours, or keep your body in this position that the suit is making you stay in for
Then it becomes a little Abu Ghraib kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like
stress positions. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Like I've seen a picture of, I believe it's you in a rubber costume for Godzilla '98, and you are crouched, and you are like that. I don't know how you staying like that.
Right, and you were doing a pretty good job. Your chest needs to be over your knees even more, and then just imagine you have a 12-foot tail
and heart attack.
Yeah.
Look, you're tall, slender, svelte. I've got the Pillsbury Doughboy thing. There's no way I could do it. I'd last.
Stay Puft Marshmallow.
I would last like not even 5 minutes in that costume. But do you do dancing or something on your toes? Do you practice workouts on your toes? Or?
When they made the shoes for the feet for Godzilla, I had a lot of practice time. Absolutely. But you need. I am not saying you need to be an Olympic athlete to be a super performer in any way. You do need a certain level of physical fitness to be able to do to be a creature.
I'm out.
But also, I wanted to say, Kurt, obviously, when you're doing these roles, you're not just putting on a suit or it's motion capture or whatever. You're giving some of your own performance and your own take of this.
Yes,
every character, right?
Yeah.
Like how much you always have to work at that too, right? And every directors have different ideas, but you're always trying to get a little bit of your own self and your own
personality
in there, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, you don't want to get caught being a guy in a rubber suit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, man, that looks like a guy in a rubber suit.
Right.
And I've been on set before. I'm like, I don't want to do it like this. Can I do it this way because it looks like a guy in a rubber suit?
Right.
Okay.
But of course, you want to make the director happy. If the director's happy, then okay, that's half the. First of all, no one on set wants to hear the opinion of how the scene goes from the guy in the rubber monster suit. You know?
Right.
Believe me.
Right.
I
So
think
you-
we should do it this way.
Godzilla has some ideas here.
Right.
What if we
Right.
snakes and go to the 35?
I have an alternate backstory for
Right.
the Slee stack.
Right. So thank you for understanding. Nobody wants to hear my opinion about anything. Maybe some other higher up level monster guys.
Right.
So you just got to be ready for anything. You know, like when you're on set as an actor, you know, like, well, I got about 6 different ways I could do this in case the director wants to do it a different way.
Right.
So you just got that in your back pocket and just know, like, well, if they don't like that, we'll do take 2, and hopefully, usually the director is pretty good about like being specific about, you know, let's dial it back a little bit and do it this way.
Right,
Go to the left instead of the right.
Kurt, it's interesting. You've been doing this for a while, creature stuff. How did you get into this? Because Godzilla, that's a while ago.
Yes,
You've
it
been
was.
doing this for a while. How did you get into
Right, for a 24-year-old man like myself, yes, I was very very young when I did Godzilla. I was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
No.
Yes, I was very lucky. Reader's Digest version. I started professionally doing Little Shop of Horrors in New York.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
I did the
I
off-Broadway.
love that show.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was an understudy.
Okay.
Like a temporary understudy, but I got to go on a few times,
Uh-huh.
and then after that show closed, I ended up doing big puppets for this puppet company in New York. Skip. Then 10 years later, I got a phone call out of the blue about coming to LA to audition for Godzilla. So I did.
Wow.
I was very lucky to get a job.
You're kidding.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What are some of the other more prominent creature type roles you've played in which films?
I was Werewolves in the Underworld movies, the first 3 Underworld movies.
Okay.
Love those.
Kate Beckinsale has killed me many times.
Lucky you.
How did
Yes.
you kill?
Many times.
Yeah.
And you know, and she is lovely. She's a lovely
Yes.
person, but I could walk down the street and she would not know who I am.
right.
Hey, you killed me like 6 times.
I thought we had something, but
Right?
okay.
Yeah. You know. But I was a Slee Stack in Land of the Lost.
The movie, the film. Okay.
I was in charge of teaching all the Slee Stacks how to move.
Oh, nice.
Now, we're
Nice.
the movie.
The
right?
movie,
The
yes.
movie, yeah,
movie.
the Will Ferrell
Because
movie.
the
Yeah,
TV
he would have been
you
6.
Yes.
Yes. A little
pretty short
baby
Slee
Slee
Stack.
Stack.
I
Yeah.
was- yes,
You were dedicated.
Yes, exactly. Sid and Marty really wanted me that.
They really, they saw you. The minute you came out of the womb, they were like, hire him.
Yes, yes. And I was I helped puppeteer Shark and Lethal Weapon 4.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's a little off the beaten
No,
track.
but that's
I
interesting.
got
That's
to
cool.
do that, and
I would like to know what was the most challenging of these performances? It was either physically taxing or just a difficult job to do.
That's a great question. And the first thing that leaps to mind was the baby Godzillas were very challenging.
No.
Oh, so you actually did those too? Like,
Yeah,
Oh,
there was
really?
like 7 or 8 of us.
in the 90,
Yeah,
in
right.
the 98
Yeah,
in the
American
98
Godzilla. Okay.
Yeah. And it was, and once again, I want to stress, you know, those suits were made by the best people in the business.
Sure.
They were as light and as comfortable as they could be. It was mostly the body position with your chest way over your feet.
Yeah. 'Cause it's not a
and-
natural
and-
position to
Yeah,
be
and
in.
trying to
No,
find the sweet
no.
spot of trying to give a good performance and not look like a guy in a baby Godzilla.
Right.
So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
that was really challenging. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I really appreciate you making some time for us. Is there
Thank you.
anything that you would like to plug
or
that
you
you're
could talk
doing?
about.
Yeah.
That's anything you wanted to
Right.
plug.
Well, thank you. I have a couple projects coming out. I think in September. I think as my voice goes up,
They're not real projects, are they?
but I'm on, I believe, my Instagram because I'm so into social, guys. I think
I can't get away from
we
you.
hear you.
Yeah.
We're at
Kurt
that
Carley
age.
3000.
Kurt Carley 3000.
On Instagram. I think there may be a picture there.
Okay.
And my web address is kurtcarley.com. So,
Okay. Cool. Awesome.
And on a side note,
Yes.
you are good friends with my friend Penelope Lombard.
Yes.
Who I worked with on The Dish.
yes.
And how long have you known her?
Oh my gosh, I think I met Penelope 20-some years ago. I helped her. She did a show that she had written or co-written.
Okay.
It was like a sitcom on stage.
Okay.
And the director needed, who I'd worked with before doing tech stuff, they needed someone like to run lights and sound. And so that's where I believe that's where I met Penelope initially.
wow.
But that was 20-some years ago.
Wow.
She's brilliant.
Yes, absolutely.
I think she's so funny.
Yes, and she's a lovely person.
Yes, she is.
Yes.
But isn't it a small world? Here we are at the Hollywood clique, kind of. Your friend knows the monster actor.
All, it's like it's
Hollywood.
It's Hollywood showbiz.
Living the dream.
Hey, we'll see you at the after party. We'll talk all about this.
Exactly.
Well, Kurt, thank you so much for coming over and chatting with us.
Thank you, guys.
I look forward to this project that's coming out eventually. I
The
got to check out
mystery
your
project.
Instagram.
Yeah.
But thank you so much, buddy. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Guys, when I was walking around the convention, I see this stuff out in the corner, and it's like, wait, that stuff can't be for sale. There's this beautiful cardboard standee of Godzilla 84 and some statues, and I meet this gentleman, Josh, who's guarding it.
I am.
Josh, what's your last name?
Valse.
Okay, and you were with?
I'm with JPX. I'm the president of the organization. That stands for the Jurassic Paleo Art Expo. We specialize in visual effects, exhibits, movie props. We were formerly Jurassicon, and then Universal bought us out, so they now own that name.
Made a few bucks.
Made a few bucks.
Okay.
It was a healthy, amicable agreement between us and Universal.
Wow.
But the stuff you have out there, I mean, I was like, you have that statue that was given out in 1977 when Dino De Laurentiis came out, their King Kong. And they made these maquettes or statues that were about, that's like 2 feet tall almost, and they gave them to just select people.
Yeah.
And you have a statue out there.
Yeah. They're as small as a child. A child.
More pleasant.
Yeah, less noisy. Nailed onto a piece of wood. And
if only.
If only that was a solution for babysitters everywhere.
But it's like people know there's the classic 33 King Kong, and the 77 King Kong looks different. And in that pose that he's standing, he's got these lips that are going,
Right.
But we were talking how we're not really sure how many were made. We think it was 1,000?
So the numbers fluctuate because the thing is, when you wrap a production, there's crew gifts, and crew gifts aren't really taking there's no numbers to a crew gift.
Right.
Usually when a production ends its duration, they start taking basically money from the crew. So it was an opt-in. You could purchase a crew gift, and then depending on how many bought into it, then they would replicate X amount of items for the crew gifts. Now the difference with this one is, what complicates it further is, not only was it a crew gift, it was then later produced as a theatrical display.
Which I didn't know.
So a select few of them were used for theatrical displays. There is a famous photo with Jessica Lange and Jeff Bridges holding one at the premiere for the 70s King Kong remake. So, and then the theaters just kept them in there for the theatrical run.
Yeah, what would the theater do? It's going to go to the manager, and the manager's going to, I'm sure, trying to sell it,
Or they throw them away.
Matt, yes.
Well, that's the thing, because, again, you'll get managers that don't care. They're angry with life. So, God knows what they threw away.
Right.
Especially back then. Now is a little more of a collectible
people
sensibility.
Are more savvy
back
about
then,
it,
it's like
eBay exists now, so people are making a little side money.
Yeah.
But back then, for that item, because it is heavy. It's solid wood, it's resin, it has history, made by Carlo Rambaldi. So for people that don't know, he did E.T. with Steven Spielberg. He worked on the original Aliens. I imagine that few managers with half a brain kept them within their collection. And then those went to either crew members or they went to their employees like, hey, do you want to purchase a King Kong maquette from the 1970s? And they were like, yeah, sure, we'll purchase a King Kong maquette from the 1970s. So, I think that's roughly how it worked out. But you could see how that would complicate keeping track of X amount was produced.
But the truth of the matter is, I mean, now that film came out in 77, some people who may have got one, now some pop up every once in a while. Like I see them on eBay, they're going for $6,000, $4,000. But in addition to the statue, you also have a recast of the original Kong?
So we have a plaster cast made by Ricardo Delgado.
Is that Marcelo Delgado?
Marcel, yes. Ricardo Delgado,
I was thinking Robert Delgado, who played the master.
There's so many Delgados.
Hey, guys, it's been a long convention. He's been working
again, I survived a hurricane this morning. So we have a Los Angeles hurricane, depending on when the date of this is.
My hat came off.
Right. I had to use the windshield in the back of that little one in the back of your car. The bag's like a dog tail.
But you have a cast of that.
So we have a cast. That's the last sculpture he did did of Kong before he passed away. Wow. And he did that for the Hollywood Museum. Originally, it was in Niagara Falls. So he did a smaller scale one, which is the one he sculpted. And then he did not sculpt the larger one. That was shopped out, and another company did that. So we are happy to get a plaster of that. So we have the plaster bust of that. But he did do a full body, 1-to-1 scale motion puppet of that Kong.
Wow.
And then we also have a plaster cast of the armature. So that's currently in Burns' collection.
Yeah, Bob Burns. Yeah.
So Bob Burns. And I actually got to hold Kong.
So do we.
Are we part of the Kong Club?
Yeah.
Club Kong. And then we also have the David Allen bust because that has a little bit of lineage, and he worked on the original Ghostbusters, and he did that bust for the IMAX film, The History of Hollywood, and then he later used it for various commercials. I think the Volkswagen.
The Volkswagen is
the most famous one.
In addition to the Kong stuff, you did have some other things that at first I wasn't really thrilled about, but then as I got closer, you had actual animation stills from Hanna-Barbera's Godzilla, and you had a little Godzuki. Which I'm not a fan of, but one of Godzilla looked really cool.
Yeah, there's a few. We have a real close-up of him roaring. That's a pencil test, and it looks like classic Godzilla.
Yeah.
And then we have another one where he's rising out of the water, and we have it superimposed with one of the I think it's the Earth Monster animation cell. So we lucked out on those. We ran into those like by happenstance, and we just had the opportunity to acquire them.
That's awesome.
So those were a lot of fun, and a lot of people have been getting kicks out of seeing is that because a lot of these kids know about Godzuki, but they've never seen Godzuki. So all they see is this
doesn't do
image.
many shows.
Yeah. So they're running up like, is that the meme? I'm like, yes. What is it? Elder millennial? Like that is the meme that you grew up with about Godzuki.
That's so funny.
Well, speaking of things that you just kind of come upon, and speaking of Kong, there's a number of people I know who got the shields and spears from the original Kong film because they went to the studio where some of that was done, and these shields were just sitting there for years.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so what happens is old school Hollywood was big into reusing props for every production under the sun. There's some famous ones. Robbie the Robot, I think, is the most famous one. Where it was
of course,
space, and then the Forbidden Planet movies. But the act of destroying movie props didn't happen until like around 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Okay.
So the director didn't want to see his models reused for another sci-fi film. So he actually started the practice of destroying models.
Wow.
But prior to that, the shields, spears, weapons, costumes, Kong, the villagers in Kong.
Yeah.
Those costumes are in God knows how many like Tarzan films or
because
something.
they were with RKO for a while when RKO closed up. A lot of the props went to prop houses.
Yeah.
So there's some prop houses in LA that had these for years.
Yep.
Right.
The thing that gets me is sometimes you can't really tell, is that exactly from King Kong or was it used for King Solomon's?
It was like slightly altered,
because I've seen this, and I know auction houses have had a problem when someone says this shield was used in King Kong. It looks like it was made in the 30s, but you don't know.
No, that's true.
And the thing is, like, there's only so much provenance that can be done with these auction houses, and a lot of it is simply like they'll freeze frame a movie, look at the freeze frame on their computer screen, and like, okay, that looks like it. So this is where this. And we know as prop builders, like, no, there's a lot more that needs to be done to kind of verify those origins. But that's why we tell people when you go to auction houses and you see this, like, you really got to vet it.
Yeah.
Because they'll show the guy that's selling it, he's within his right. He'll show you the certificate. I bought it from this auction house. This is where. And it's like, but that doesn't mean the auction house was right. That just means that the photo they saw, and they matched it to the best of their abilities, and so they signed you a COA.
That's tricky.
It is. It's tough.
We
learned it with our movie prop collection. We try to vet everything. We do our research before we do any acquisitions. That's why we did so much research for this exhibit. And thanks to
So that is Godzuki.
That is the authentic.
All right, okay.
But you
want to make sure.
No knockoff Godzukis in this.
But Scott Zilner, who put this convention on, you actually have some pieces of his collection in your collection out there.
Scott has this huge fiberglass, Super Sentai, Giga Man, Monster, Zord looking thing. So it was sitting actually in the front lobby when we were setting up, and I looked at him and I was like, hey, let's just throw it in the. You already gave us all this square footage. Let's just throw it in the exhibit. So we have that piece, and then he has this huge standee from Godzilla 1985.
That's the thing that I'm like drooling over.
I'm the one that has the Godzilla heads, and even I looked at it like coveting eyes.
Yeah. Well, he gave us
kind of sconned with that.
Yeah, he gave us an idea of some of the other things that he has.
Yeah,
and it's just like, wow,
crazy.
that is unbelievable.
I mean, one day, hopefully, we'll be lucky enough to see that collection.
yes,
Yes.
yeah, that would be
he's
amazing.
Like the next Forrest
He's like
J.
the
Ackerman.
uber-
yeah, or Bob Burns.
Yeah.
Well, Josh, I want to thank you so much for stopping by.
Yeah, my
that
pleasure.
stuff out there is great. So if
I'm gonna take a look at it again before I go.
If people want to check out your stuff, where do they go to see things?
So you can look at us up as JPX or the Jurassic Paleo Art Expo. We're on Facebook and Instagram. Just look for the red dinosaur footstep looking shape. That's us. That's very easy to find us. And you'll see all of our past shows, our past actors we worked on, some of our movie credentials and stuff like that. We're trying to do a Jurassic Park exhibit coming up next because this year was the 30th anniversary of the film.
Oh, cool.
Has it been 30 years? That's right.
crazy.
I was married 30 years ago. That's right.
Time flies.
We played our.
Do you have a Jurassic anniversary?
We played the Jurassic.
Don't get him
music.
started.
No, we played the Jurassic music when my wife and I came out at the reception. They played da 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 da. So that's how I remember.
Well done.
Kind of an omen, but okay.
These are my life goals. So I applaud you, sir.
Well, Josh, thanks again for stopping by.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah,
You have to check it out.
Let
Thank
the
you,
Monster
buddy.
Party rock on. Fist bumps, all right.
Awesome.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we just got a flash flood warning, and that
Flash
means
flood
that we
warning.
have to get this interview right now because the waters are coming.
Yes. Run for your lives! Run for your lives! And James just got up and left because someone help me. No,
he had to go back to Palm
But it's
Springs.
like, we're here, and we don't care if it's some rainstorm because we have great people to talk to.
That's
Yes.
right.
Don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with Tohru Masamune from Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie.
Yes.
2014.
1918.
Wow.
No.
You were in the Edison.
I was in the
No.
I was in the silent version.
Yes.
I was in the cave painting version. No, 2014.
2014.
Michael Bay.
Teenage Mutant Ninja
Michael
Turtles.
Bay.
Yeah.
Big picture. And you played the role of Shredder.
I did.
You know, I mean, talk about an iconic role.
Right?
Yeah,
Right.
This is like the big role. This is like if you're not going to be the Turtles, you got to be Shredder.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah. It's interesting. You know, when I was going through the whole process, and it's very secretive, and there was a lot of changes and blah blah blah. And so when the offer was first made, they were saying that we want you to give you the offer.
Right.
Your character has a name, because but we can't tell you what it is right now.
You didn't know who you were going to be playing.
And something, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, that's good. So I guess I'm not going to be Foot Clan Soldier number 2. But you know what?
right. But hey,
if you got
nice work, if
number 2's open, then I'll take it.
Exactly.
Lunch money. But and sure enough, and then we went through the process, and then we, it's crazy. So and then all of a sudden. And so there's this whole process, and the whole very secretive phase of it, and then finally at some point, and I'm actually trying to figure out, dude, I think I'm playing Shredder. Isn't that crazy?
That is amazing, and this is a beloved franchise.
Oh my God!
It seems to just live and live and live.
Oh, dude, yeah, it's of course with Seth Rogen's thing, which is a fantastic movie. I just saw it, and it's funny because. For me, like at 2014, and I've done a few things then that were really quite different. I started playing this very thoughtful Christian hippie dad, and then I was playing this other AI side. But it's very funny, and I was thinking, this is where it happens. I play the super villain, right? On the big movie.
Right.
And also you get some recognition. You do sort of then you do the very human kind of indie, human stories, right?
Right.
And I'm thinking that ended, and then sure enough, as this other Never Have I Ever came to a close, lovely experience. Say my goodbyes. Wow, it's been awesome. Then I get some food company sends me some pizzas. Think Ninja Turtle pizzas. Could you try these and tell us what you think? And then all of a sudden, all these things, and I realize, oh, not so fast, dude. You're back on shredder duty, and I'm very thankful for it. That I have,
of course.
I mean, how lucky for an actor to have a home to always go back to.
And you got pizzas too.
I got oh man, you guys want to come over for a pizza?
Yes,
party?
we do.
Yes, we do.
Very much so.
I get my freezer is just full of them, and so but I just thought it's funny, and I just thought as long as I'm walking this earth, this Ninja Turtles, it's just going to keep on going. You know? And and it is interesting, especially with Shredder sort of being the iconic villain. I mean, he's obviously far from the only one, but he's the original.
But he is a prominent character in the story. Now, I want to ask, when you got the role, had you been a Ninja Turtles fan? I mean, you were aware of it. I mean, because it is kind of like you're now part of a pretty big and very well-known franchise.
Right. Yeah, that's actually a great question, because for a lot of people, I think sort of 1990 movie. First cartoon was what, mid 80s?
Mid 80s, yeah.
So anyway, like I'm gonna say about 86, 87.
There's been so many incarnations.
So that's most people's, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So my intro, just dating myself, I guess, is a buddy of mine. So this would be 84, and I was in New England at the time. Hands me this comic book. Dude, just check this out, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I just chuckled. And I laughed. I started reading it, and I do remember reading through it, and I loved it.
Yeah.
I think there's
Kevin
6.
Eastman.
Yeah.
Eastman, and there's the black and white. You know what I'm talking about,
Yes.
right?
The
whole thing with the thermite bomb, the old, the whole story, the Hamada Yoshi, like the whole story. They give the whole backstory in that first.
It's
issue.
deeper than you think it's going to be.
Oh, that's the thing. So that's my beginnings. Where this very deep,
that's a great
dark,
way to be introduced.
They were goofy, but I don't know. They translate a little different on comics, right?
They're
like
quirky and odd.
A little quirky, but they were like badasses.
Yeah.
They started cornered in the alley.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't remember the gang, whatever. But, But then Shredder, blah blah, and they tell the backstories, and
I want you to narrate it. You were almost ready to narrate
it. Was like, he goes, "No, it's time to kill you, our story," and they go back and. So I remember that very vividly. And then, kind of when we were getting into the cartoons, I was just old enough that I wasn't as invested into it.
Right.
And they soften it.
They did for
and I think at that point they were trying to, they're thinking, let's sell some toys.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
So at this point is like Eastman and Laird just saying, let's just do something weird.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that was my beginnings of it. So I was kind of following that, and then it's interesting because when I got into this project, I saw it as a comic book, not as a cartoon.
Right.
Here's another weird thing. Moved to L.A. Guess who's in my first acting class? Judith Hogue.
Oh.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and at the time, this would be about 93, 94.
Okay.
And I'm just kind of like trying to figure stuff out, and I kind of. Again, I'm still thinking of the Ninja Turtles as a comic book.
Yeah.
Right.
So I kind of saw the movie, and but I still think of it as a comic book. But I kind of didn't really make the connection until years later.
Yeah.
Like, she looked familiar.
Mm-hmm.
And I could tell she's a big deal in class, but, whatever.
Yeah.
It's Hollywood.
Sure.
Everybody seems like a big
Everybody
deal.
thinks everybody.
Yeah, so you don't know what's real.
Right.
That girl, she thinks she's not all that.
She's doing okay. She's fine.
Yeah, but fine actress, by the way,
of
and really
course.
wonderful person.
Of
But
course.
anyway, so all that was happening, and then certainly when this came up, so all the research I was doing, so I'm kind of just a Ninja Turtle comic book fan, and actually I followed. So I was watching stuff. But what I connected to was comics, and I went to the Archie's comic series.
Not as much violence in that.
Yeah, and not as much.
Later.
But where I landed, finally, when I said, okay, this is the Shredder, is the IDW series.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
And then that's when, okay, now we're
Yeah,
into
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Right.
Now we're into it.
That's
And
cool.
sure enough, that's what they wanted, was kind of a brooding, intense start.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
and
That's
so
cool.
so interesting enough, to answer your question, I'm definitely very much fan from the beginning, but not
Really the beginning.
not a typical fan.
I would say a true fan because you started with the comic books.
Yeah.
And I kind of stuck with there, and I was less so with that. And the merch, I was more about this weird comic book my buddy
Yeah.
gave me
Totally. Yeah.
in New England,
Yeah.
back then. So
Well, I am so happy to see you here,
Yeah.
and I'm so happy you could give us this time.
Yeah.
Because, once again, there are certain characters, certain genre characters that are, they're bigger than life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to
Right.
get to play that, and,
Oh, it's
and
crazy.
you did it so well.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
And aren't you an action figure too?
I'm an action figure.
See,
That-
that's,
see, that's
so cool.
awesome.
We're seeing
Yeah.
across
That's
from
really
an
cool.
action.
Yes.
Well, I mean, no, he's not an action figure, but he is an action figure.
Yeah.
The inspiration for an action figure.
Yeah.
That's
and
awesome.
what I also love is the fact that you embrace the character that you play, because as fans, we get so tired of, when there's someone who is just, they do this big role and everybody loves it and they're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about
Yeah.
that.
Right,
Why?
right.
Yeah.
You created this
Yes.
thing that people were going to remember
right.
forever. And that doesn't take away from any other thing that you do.
Right.
But you have this loyal following, these fans that are always going to be with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, pop
you-
culture is important.
Well, what's
you know?
interesting too, because now that we're technically with Seth Rogen's thing, we're moving a generation removed.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to realize, okay, that's going to be the Michael Bay thing, right?
Yes,
Right.
exactly,
And I
yeah.
realized, and it's
Right.
funny. There's a moment where I was doing my research, and Matt Murdock, and
Oh, right, with
yeah,
Daredevil.
Daredevil,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
so I remember, sort of making that connection, with the hand and the foot
Sure.
clan and Splinter and
Right.
the
Yeah.
and then realizing all that, and there's that's actually that whole first story where Matt Murdock's the guy, I guess, gets hit by the TCRI. Or I can't.
Well, in the comic
in the
books,
comic book,
there
it's-
is like he gets splashed with
It's like
some sort
toxic,
of
yeah,
chemical.
So and he goes
Back
on
in the
to-
day, toxic chemicals would give you superpowers.
Yeah,
as opposed
yeah.
to
Yeah,
Yeah.
What's it now? We're
give you cancer.
Now it
years.
kills you.
and so anyway, I'm a research guy, and it is when you're realizing there's an iconic character, there's a responsibility, and you can't
Sure.
half-ass it, right? So I'm going to a comic book store and sort of thinking, I need to really do a deep dive into Daredevil because it's just part of it. That was, and
Yeah.
so I'm going in and I go up to the guy at the counter and I go, so where should I start? I want to make a deep dive into Daredevil. And he goes, like his eyes lit up, goes, oh, dude, I got some stuff that can knock your socks off.
I'm wondering what it's going to be.
Well, here's the thing that's sort of interesting. And he walks me back there, and he starts showing me all this stuff. And he goes, and he's talking about all these phases. And there's one point where he's kind of going, then there's this series goes, I'm not too crazy about this. He was talking about there's this swashbuckling Daredevil, and he goes, he turned into this moody Daredevil, and he goes, I mean, come on, how many rainstorms can you handle, and then finally, I'm sitting there listening to him, sort of anonymous, sort of think to myself, and I realize how moody my Shredder had become at this point. I'm going, oh man, I'm gonna be that moody Shredder,
but how great though!
No.
Just scenery chewing. Fun.
And I kept on thinking, and I was feeling really something because, oh man, they're gonna hate. I'm gonna be like the moody guy. And then I thought, wait a minute, this is my Shredder.
That's your approach.
I'm gonna be moody as F, man.
Yes.
Why not?
And you know what? To digress just a tad, I mean, when it comes to those Daredevil books where he's moody, when I got back into comics, I love those were the ones. It was the Frank Miller, Born Again,
right. That's
Ed
what it was.
Brubaker, and I love that Daredevil. I was offended when superheroes were looked at as silly. So when it started to come back to the dark brooding, like, hey, let's take this seriously, I love that stuff.
Yeah.
Now, has there been some overkill? Sure. But the fact that you did that and you went, I'm going to embrace this and make this who I think it should be, I think that's great.
Yeah.
Because then people are taking it seriously.
Right.
I think so, and you look at a lot of the storylines, and there's a lot of pain that Shredder went through to get through to where he was, and that's where that was the starting point. Is when that dojo scene, I'm thinking, this is the end of the line. I mean, this is the last straw because there's been a lot of stuff
building up.
Yeah, and then it's not minor. It's like really
right.
Well, you saw me. It's like all scarred up. I mean, I clearly was not having a good day.
Right.
So anyway, so I kind of felt like this felt right. And the nice thing is when I showed up on set, talked with everybody because I was kind of, they just let me kind of go, and we had our first discussion about where this is going.
Right.
Saying that's what we were thinking too, because they want Eric Sachs to be sort of the face, and goes, Yeah, we just want you to be this like really intense, dark, like behind the scenes.
Cool.
And Bay was cool to work with.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it was very. It was. These big movie sets. You just kind of stay in your lane,
right?
Yeah.
Because
a lot of moving parts.
A lot of moving parts, and you don't know what someone's dealing with or what they're going through.
Sure.
So you wouldn't go, hey, Michael, can the turtles do something else over here? I mean,
I'm
I
thinking
feel
maybe
better.
they could do this.
You wouldn't do that. Is
Right.
what you're
Well,
saying.
there was a point where it was kind of funny. We were doing some like voicing stuff, and I was really. And they kind of gave me the room, so they let me kind of like because this is the Japanese part.
Sure.
And I had my translator, and so they let me kind of take over, which was great. And so we're doing all this stuff. We had this great session. And finally I'm feeling good, and I'm kind of feel like kind of a badass. Like I'm kind of like, right?
I got
on a
this.
crazy movie, and I'm going like, and I'm going, is that good? Is this good? All right. And then finally there's this, Michael Bay comes in, but he's just sort of this figurehead I see out the background.
Sure. Right, yeah.
So these people are gathering around, kind of like, I'm
Yeah.
going, all right, what's going on? And someone goes, yeah, so, Michael, why don't you kind of do that part over again? And I'm, yeah, of course, yeah. Which part? He goes, the whole thing. I go, okay, of course, Mr. Bay. I feel the same way, man.
Right.
And so we just did it, and it was very funny. But it's very much that.
Yeah,
I think you need to offer that respectfully, but you got to be always aware that how much is on everybody's mind.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
And they may be a great person, and maybe it comes down the line that you guys. But on set is not the time to sort of
Right.
shout
You
out.
just gotta get the work done.
And it shows when,
Right.
when they want you to do it again. At least it shows that they're paying attention.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so he's actually directing, and that's great because I'm sure that in some cases it's like, hey, can you give me a little help with this? And it's just nothing.
Yeah.
know?
Oh yeah, yeah.
right,
And
right.
it's
Which is sometimes a blessing.
sometimes a blessing, but yeah, and at the end of the day, I remember watching that thing, and I'm not walking around. I'm not a scary guy, and to play that is like that's a whole different level, right?
Right,
And
right.
I'm thinking, and I've always been very good at playing. I don't know why. It's some weird talent I have. I'm good at scary character. I don't know why, but. So I figured I could do it, but that's a whole different level.
Right.
Well, I have to tell you, we think that you are a lovely person, a
Yeah.
lovely human being.
We're so happy that you made the time for us.
It has been so special.
Oh, thank you.
To have you take the time to come over to our booth, and we really appreciate it. And I know I've seen you're giving me the scary face now.
You have resting scary face?
I have a resting villain face.
He was doing his villain face at me.
I actually got the job that way. I think the casting person said.
That's funny.
Yeah. That apparently I have a resting villain face. So,
Well,
That's
it's
good.
been great having
Anyway.
you come and speak with us.
Yeah,
Thank you
we know
so much.
we know lunch is coming.
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah. So
yeah.
So we're all.
I got places to go, man.
I know.
My people tell me.
Let's hope lunch isn't pizza because you've got enough
Oh
of that.
man, I'm telling you, man. If I have another slice, no. If I see one more slice, no.
See, already the
That's
publicist
awesome.
is getting on my case.
Anyway,
Thank you so much, buddy.
right, thank
Great
you so
seeing
much.
That was
you.
terrific.
I love what
Thank
you guys
you.
are doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Yes.
you.
And I will totally check you guys out. And
Yeah, we'll plug the hell out of this.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hey, Alexis,
don't-
you like sushi, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, did you just have some?
Yes, I had some.
I did too.
Yes.
We all
Same
got
here.
free
Oh, well,
sushi.
that's what it was.
Yeah.
Isn't that
yeah.
the greatest?
Yes,
the best.
yes.
Talk about a great convention. It ends with free sushi.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
but there's.
That was the best spot.
But Matt and I, we've been arguing about some things.
We've been having this argument for years about Blade Runner, and we saw that you're wearing the Blade Runner shirt with the unicorn,
Yes.
and
I bought it too. I didn't make it.
no, you didn't make it. It's
Okay.
a store-bought. It's a beautiful shirt.
Yes, it is.
And
That's why I bought it.
you have very good taste in clothing. That's what we were talking about earlier, is your amazing taste in clothing. But aside from that, in the Blade Runner film, there's been an argument that we've been having.
Which has been a popular argument.
Our popular
among
argument
fans.
Yeah.
was Deckard a replicant?
What is your opinion on that?
Actually, I'm suspicious about that. I think
You're
he might
suspicious.
be. Yeah.
He might be, Larry.
On the other side of Sean Young's, Rachel's.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I think he's more towards human.
So he's like a newer breed of replicant.
What?
Like a new breed of replicant? Improved version?
I guess so, new breed.
Enhanced.
You might say that.
Okay.
I think he's more towards, he understands human better than the other stuff.
Than the
but he's
regular
actually,
replicants.
You know,
Yeah.
how it is. Some kids who are Eurasians and they
Right.
some look very much like European.
Right,
And
right,
some
right.
look like Asian.
Mm-hmm.
My son is like that.
Oh, yeah?
Okay.
Yeah, he looks more Asian than European. But when he was born with blonde hair and blue eyes.
How about that?
And
Wow.
when I was taking him around, everybody said, "Whose baby is that?" My baby came out of me. so you know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
You know,
Yes.
so he might be a little bit more human.
I see.
Than,
but see, so-
Rachel is more
replicant,
Yeah.
although she
Okay.
had the longer lifespan.
Yes.
Than the normal replicant.
Yes.
So I
Right.
think what if we're going to distill this down to one
Still
idea,
discussing, yeah.
I think that what you are saying is that he might be a new improved replicant, but he was a replicant.
Okay, and where are yes, but what I still stand on my ground that I believe that he is not a replicant, he is a human. Because as we see in the second movie,
Well, you
he's
see,
still
he got old.
he got old.
Because he's a new type of replicant
Oh,
that can get
you
old.
and your new type. What do you know?
You know what? In that sense, I can't really say one way or another.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
you're Miss Blade Runner.
Did I?
You Miss Blade Runner 2023.
But I wasn't the writer. How about that?
You've got a good point.
Yeah.
Well, I have to tell you, it has been such a thrill
Yes.
to be next to you. But Sean, do you have your neighbor?
You
gonna
guys
say,
are
so-
fantastic.
So you think it's up to interpretation, how people want to believe
Yeah,
what they
whatever
want.
you want to believe,
Okay.
I think it is.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's fair.
I think
So maybe what she's saying, Matt, is neither you nor I are wrong.
That's true too.
Yeah.
Which
But
I
I think what she first said,
Yeah.
though, is that you're wrong.
All right. That discussion you have to.
Yeah, that's between us. Yeah.
It'll go on for the ages.
This is not going to end.
But Alexis, thank you so much for being next to us. It's been such a joy.
Yes.
We'd love to.
Awesome.
Hopefully, we can do this
I
again.
love you guys. You were fantastic.
We love you too, and we should keep in touch.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
We'll see you at the next convention, and we'll give each other
Sushi.
Yes.
Right.
More ginger.
Yes.
more ginger.
Thank you,
And
Alexis.
sake.
Thank you.
Good night.
Okay,
It helps if you turn it on.
here we go.
To
I like the
doing
levels.
Level?
Has a little booth here where he sells a bunch
So
of different
Larry's apparently he's practicing his one-man show about something that we've never heard of.
No, wait.
He's like walking around going, "There's a booth," and you know what? Sometimes
Okay.
Hydrox cookies are good.
Now, what were you saying earlier when you my
Hey! You're, see, yeah,
That's a real hey.
I know that you think that it's real, but
What do you
I
mean
think,
I think it's
because
real?
what's happened over time is I believe that you have incorporated these affectations into your personality.
Yeah.
So you literally, Larry, don't
Yes.
know what is now authentic and what's fake.
You don't
so
know what's real anymore.
yeah,
No,
you're like
no, I know
uh,
what's real.
yeah, you're like Sybil now. You've developed a separate personality.
I see.
That's hey. That's what I call it.
I see.
Hey,
So, shall we chat with this gentleman?
Larry,
here?
we'd like to speak to Hey now.
Okay.
Hey.
Okay. You know, guys, you know what I love is when people come up to you and go, "Gosh, you guys are like a staple in the podcast world."
What's funny is that didn't happen.
No,
just now.
no. We have some strappy young men here that come up
Strappy.
and they come by
What's
and
strappy?
they said,
I see
"Look,
no scraps."
You know, Monster Party podcast. You guys have been doing this for a while. Now, what are your names here?
I am Brad.
And Chris.
Daniel.
Hey guys, thanks for stopping by. So you saw our wonderful podcast booth and you said, "Hey, we like to be like you guys because you got a little."
Okay, no, that's a lie. This is a big tower of lies that's happening.
No.
This is what happened. They came up and they
said, "Hey."
There was no hey. They said hello, and we started talking about podcasts, and they said that they have their own podcast.
What is the name of your podcast?
It is called Bradzilla and Chris Kong's Kaiju Club.
Hey.
Kaiju
Very
Club.
nice. I like it a lot.
Snappy.
We're both big giant monster fans, all things horror, etc. But
Very good.
our podcast is more focused on Godzilla and family.
Nice. Nice.
Sure.
There's kind of too much out there to cover everything. So,
So when you say
eventually we'll
Godzilla
get
and
there.
family, it's not like how Godzilla affects your family.
Not your family. Your
It has affected our family.
How could it not?
we get into a lot on the
Sure.
podcast.
And you have your producer here too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hello, I'm the producer. I like to do the more like in-depth commentary because this is new to me. Like I'm not a part of this world like they are. I'm learning about it and learning
Right.
along the way.
When you say in depth, are you saying like what's Hedera really made out of? You know, is that what you're talking about?
Exactly.
Like
That's
deep.
exactly
You go nerd
Yes,
deep.
sometimes it gets that deep. I, on the other hand, would much rather like to be like this podcast where they seem to have fun. Not having to dissect everything.
Yes.
So they're 4 episodes into it, and it's already falling apart.
Okay. So this is really good. Well, here's a little test for you guys, okay? Because you guys are no. Okay, so he's the producer, so he wants to get in depth. You guys want to have fun, but what do you guys think? In Godzilla vs. the Smog Monster, when Godzilla has pummeled the Smog Monster, he pulls out these 2 circular things. What are those 2 things?
Dreams.
Is this a PG or a PG-13 podcast?
No, it's
You know what?
rated
Any
R.
answer-
Remember, at the
any
end-
answer
at
is the right
end,
one.
At the end, Godzilla picks up these 2
because there's been a
things.
controversy about what that is.
Yes, and
people have different opinions.
Shawn Sheridan thinks it's testicles.
Is that what I said at one time?
Yes, you did.
Oh, okay.
Don't you remember?
No.
Someone says it's the eye.
So let me explain. I need to explain another thing about our podcast. And so sometimes there is a problem with the idea of humor. That someone will say something that is ridiculous, and he goes, "No, that didn't happen," which to me is odd because how does he get through a movie? He just sits in the chair going, "Nope,
No.
I
like it to
that
float.
guy can't fly."
But we've
no.
been discussing this for ages, and I want to know what you guys are new to the podcast.
We
world.
haven't
What do
been
you
discussing
guys
this
think?
for ages.
Testicles is probably the most fun answer,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's funny. We're having fun with that.
It's-
Or eggs or something, maybe?
Yeah, like-
That's what I originally thought it was.
I think maybe that's what they're kind of going for.
But then there was the Heridium thing.
Heteridium.
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 Like his power source,
Everybody's
kind of?
sexual preference, so I don't judge.
But James, what is that?
Well, you could be a heterosexual.
Wow. Good night, everybody.
We'll be here all week.
But you guys became friends, and then you said we both love Godzilla. What made you guys decide to do a podcast?
We did a Scooby-Doo podcast beforehand.
Oh, wow.
Called
Okay.
The Mystery Machine Diaries.
Oh,
We made it
nice.
through over 100 episodes on that without killing each other.
Wow, okay.
And
Ran out of
Really?
Scooby-Doo. We made it through the entire series. That
With
we were doing.
even
We did one specific series. That's what we went off of that. And
Okay.
was Scrappy Doo involved?
I love him.
He wishes.
Oh no! Wow.
What do you like Scrappy Doo?
I was a child when I met Scrappy Doo. I'm like this guy.
Why do you guys have him?
he knows how to push the buttons and our buttons.
Again, Larry's like, that little dog couldn't talk. That's ridiculous.
Well, come on! Don't you think it to me it wrecks Scooby Doo? Why do I
To me, it took the thunder away from Scooby. I mean, Scooby was great.
Can I say?
Godzilla pulled out of the monster. It was the eggs of Scrappy Doo.
There you go.
This was always my problem with Scooby-Doo. Because I saw, I'm up there in age, and I saw the original Scooby-Doo when it first aired. And I remember seeing the promos, and there were ghosts and monsters and robots, and I was very excited about this thing coming on. And I watch it, okay, there's the kind of silly dog, but I'm like, okay, these guys are sort of lovable. And then they get to the end, and it's fake. The monster is fake. And then I'm like, okay, maybe it's just for this one episode.
Right.
And then they get to the next one, and the monster fake,
Every time.
fake. And that annoyed me because I want the monsters to be real, especially on a cartoon where you can do anything.
Right.
And then they finally started making the monsters real.
Yes, they realized a few years in, there's only so many land barons you can unmask.
Yeah, exactly.
Before you gotta go with the real monsters.
That's exactly right.
3D property developers every time. And eventually we get to like the Ghoul School though, and things really pick up. Like that's
Isn't
some of my
there?
favorite
There should
stuff.
be like a Scooby-Doo Yellowstone kind of crossover.
Yeah.
Oh
Okay, yeah, I'd watch that.
Wacky races, aren't they all? Or Laugh Olympics, right? They're all
all those.
together.
Yeah, all those.
That was
I love
funny
the
thing
wacky
about
races.
me.
Wacky races.
I kept watching, thinking that, like you, Matt, there's going to be a real ghost next time. And so that first couple seasons, that was my Scooby-Doo.
But it taught us that the real monsters are us.
I didn't learn
That's
that,
true.
though.
That's
Well,
true.
no, the real monsters
he
are you.
didn't learn that.
No, see, I'm like, okay, there's always going to be bad people, but where's that bad ghost? I get
Also, werewolves, would be nice, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I get that. I don't know. I like how it was a little more skeptical, and it taught kids to ask questions.
That's a good point. That's a
Sure,
very good
sure.
point.
and not just go with it. That there's often more than meets the eye. But I mean, they do also hold that and not batting an eye at a talking dog. Right. You have to just hold those two things in your mind.
But it's not like he spoke like Scrappy-Doo, which is ridiculous. This Scooby was
unrealistic.
But Scooby, there are dogs out there who can go and so I think Scooby's
They don't know what they're saying, Larry.
But Scooby's things where he goes, I kind of bought that.
Okay, sure. I mean, or are we just kind of glorifying a speech impediment in his case? I don't know.
Maybe.
They don't explore the lore big enough.
I have to listen to your past episodes. You've opened up my eyes.
Yeah,
There's a lot of
Can you guys tell me, because you guys are Scooby experts here, what are the Scooby snacks that can be eaten by both a dog and a
flesh?
human?
I mean, any dog snack could be a people snack.
Not that we've ever tried.
It's wherever you can slather peanut butter.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever? Did you guys ever eat a milk bone, like as a kid?
Yes.
No.
Yes, as a child.
I have.
Yes.
I have.
Not recently.
Although I have to smoke a lot of pot, and then they're delicious.
When I
Sure they
I
are.
couldn't have been any more than 13, 14. My brother's 16, 17. Comes home, and my mom pulls out what she's telling us are Idaho doubles, these giant, extra thick potato chips. I'm like, okay, sure. We're both sitting there gnawing on them. She gives us about 5 minutes. Like, no, those are rawhide strips.
This is your mother?
Hilarious. And if you know, she's a wonderful lady, but that's not. It's just so out of character for her. We've never forgotten this.
Wow.
It was just
a
Dang,
children's
Mom,
party.
dang,
When you have a
God's
birthday
good,
party. When you have a birthday party, it's just a big bowl of pig's ears.
only to her own kids, though. You wouldn't do that to other kids, right?
But does this mean every Thanksgiving, all right, what she got now? She might pull out something.
Absolutely. Every single year we make the jokes. Absolutely. Yeah, no, we'll never let her forget that.
Okay, so you guys did the Scooby-Doo, but now...
It's a long way to go for, we've eaten dog.
But you're doing the Godzilla kind of and family friends podcast. Do you guys have a favorite Godzilla film?
Destroy All Monsters.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Shin Godzilla.
Really? Nice.
It got me back into the. Oh boy! Oh wow! They like that one. Yeah. That kind of got me back into all things Godzilla and kaiju. Something I really enjoyed when I was younger. I loved Pacific Rim, giant robots and stuff, but that was the first one I saw in so long where it's they're actually really taking this seriously.
So different, right? Such a different approach.
And talk
And
about
I love
social
the effects
commentary.
and everything. Yeah, it was a real. It felt like really harkening back to a lot of the original movies.
But don't you think? I mean, Matt and I were talking about this. It's like in the older Godzilla movies, when Godzilla appears, it's like, how is it when someone says, we got to do something, and here we saw the bureaucracy of when it's like, you can
really
fire now. No, we can't fire. All that bureaucracy stuff. I love that stuff.
Me too.
That's kind of
Everyone loves red tape in a monster movie.
Okay,
so wait a minute.
See,
So you
I
don't
see
like
where
it,
he's
right?
going. What is you Shin Godzilla?
No, I love Destroy All Monsters. Shin Godzilla is upsetting to me.
No,
It is a kind of polarizing film because
It is.
To me, it's as if Stanley Kubrick directed a Godzilla film. It has that
Sure.
cold
Right. There's
kind
a
of
strange
distance.
love kind of feel
Yeah,
to
it's
it.
a weird, but I do like it. I find it fascinating. Because
love it. Love it.
we have so many Godzilla films. I think it's
Right.
cool that they can just experiment and do something different. And the creature itself was scary and weird, and I liked it.
You don't like the red tape. You don't like the reality. You don't like real life stuff. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's why we do a podcast. We don't like real life.
Hey.
We often discuss that we hate the human aspect of these movies. We'd rather just stomping.
It depends, though.
Let me. So
really
wait.
depends.
So for the longest time, I was with you. Destroy All Monsters was my favorite, And James, his favorite movie is?
It's Monster Zero.
Okay.
And I love that movie too.
Sure.
And he made a very good argument for Monster Zero. I went back and watched it again, and it is now my favorite of the Showa.
The Showa, right.
You know, and because as much as I do like Destroy All Monsters, you've got all the monsters, you've got all this
It's the
wonderful
Justice League of Monsters.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And space stuff too. You
Right.
know, all the outer space stuff is great. But in Destroy All Monsters, even though there's kind of less of the kaiju action,
Right.
there's interesting, funny characters. There's Nick Adams
In,
just chewing up
Monster
the
Zero,
scenery.
Yeah. Kumi Mizuno.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, and I love the Exians, and it's
And the
just
space stuff is really, it's also beautiful
It
to
is
look
beautiful,
at. It's
yes.
gorgeous.
blue
It is.
space, the Japanese space.
I love blue space.
Yep.
It is pop culture. It's turned up to a 15 out of 10. So
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah, it's like everything led to that movie.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
it's they never. You could tell they never realized they wanted like an Avengers universe, but that's what happened, and they leaned into it super heavily. And now it's just, to me, everything chases after that. Like they all,
Right.
Yeah.
even the new Americanized versions are like, all right, we're gonna get them all together. It's the
Yeah.
MonsterVerse.
Right.
Yeah.
When it's just, and you remember what you saw as a kid. That was one of the things I remember when they were on at Saturday mornings and afternoons.
Right.
You're sitting there, didn't want to go outside because you're chubby, and you watch it, and you're like, this is fun, and it's not as scary as the other ones are. Some of them
Right.
can get pretty
Yeah,
intense, and that
yeah.
one was really
A little more kid friendly.
more kid friendly, more
Yeah.
like the Hanna-Barbera cartoon. You know, you kind of get aboard that. Where Shin Godzilla is terrifying. It's every
it's
little version
weird
of
It
him
is
and
is
disturbing.
but that's the
terrifying.
point.
Yeah, that's what I like about it though, is that it is more almost, I don't know, horror.
Yeah,
kinda
yeah.
It's
vibes
different
and- yeah,
too.
it's-
It breathes
right.
life into
You
the
are right.
in the franchise.
I really like this podcast.
And here's the funny thing. I mean, okay, forget about how you feel about Shin Godzilla, but isn't it amazing, guys? When Godzilla came out back in '54, and then here in '56,
Godzilla came out?
Will you give me a moment? When you guys they have all the movies. Here we are in 2023, and they're still doing big monster movies. Doesn't that make you feel good?
It's awesome. I think the new MonsterVerse movies often catch a lot of flack for being, this or that, overproduced, schlocky, whatever it is. And sure, but that doesn't change the fact that we're getting big budget, incredibly
true.
well
Yeah.
done action sequence Godzilla movies.
Right. At least we have them. I mean,
At least
yes.
we have them.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
I mean,
keeping it all alive.
There's a big disagreement here about the Godzilla versus Kong film, but you got to admit the whole battle sequence. No, the battle sequence in the city and stuff with all the colors and lights. That's cool.
It's awesome. My only complaint about that movie in particular is, again, the people stuff.
Exactly.
Not the human stories. I don't care about
Take it all. Take it all.
Horrible.
we could cut all of it. But
All
when we
of it.
get to the giant monkey,
All of it.
this giant lizard, it's
Handsome.
Yes.
Kyle Chandler is very handsome, but poor guy deserves a break from carrying like the entire human-led story on that.
Yeah,
It's not compelling. I don't care about any of those people.
No, you're right.
They're not even really doing a good job at what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah,
What they
yeah.
should be doing is just flying around, like waking up all the other kaijus.
I don't want
Let's
to.
get all these other cool kaiju that you're only going to see a snippet of in the background. Let's give them some more screen
You
time.
get kind of a rip-off idea.
I also don't want to follow the kid story.
Yes. Oh,
Like
yeah.
let's again. They're always
It's
trying
so
to.
hot.
Look, see, I
They're
don't
always
mind
trying
the
to
kid.
throw the kids in there. It's like,
Well,
hey,
Kong
can we have
Skull
some
Island.
adults?
Yeah.
Kong Skull Island is the exception where I thought
agree.
that the human part was interesting.
better.
No.
I got to hang out on the set of Kong Skull Island for a little bit.
Wow.
No.
And they were super into it. They were super jazzed. A lot of the sequences where they're walking through the swamp and stuff. I was watching them film a lot of that, and they were super. They were like, "This is the best time ever."
I think that's an underrated movie, actually.
I do too.
Franchise.
You know, it's one of those bridging films, and it's never easy to be the Jan Brady of kaiju films.
But it
Where
works.
At the end, you love Jan Brady because she tries hardest.
I did love Jan Brady.
Yeah.
Well, what a great cast!
But yeah,
you had Hiddleston, you had Samuel
love
Jackson.
Skull Island.
Yeah.
I'd go there.
And the spider. I love the spider.
Yeah.
I feel like they're having more fun. It feels like they're having more fun in that movie than like Godzilla versus Kong. The human interest story is very serious. Serious people doing serious things.
Or just like badly written.
It's
Could
terrible.
definitely be some of
It's
that too.
Awful.
But like the scene where whatever army guy in Kong, rips off all the grenade pins, and he's going to get the Mudo to eat him and sacrifice himself, and the Mudo just whips him with the tail like a mile and a half.
That's good.
It's hilarious. It's high camp. It's fantastic.
That's good. Yeah,
we
that's
need
good.
more of, if you're going to give us this human interest fluff piece with the kids and everything, like, give us Hanna-Barbera Godzilla with the kids. Give us Godzuki with the kids. You could do that. And make it silly and campy, and it'd be fantastic.
Now, speaking of that, let's go back a little bit to Godzilla's Revenge as we know it.
Sure.
Now, that's a movie that I always defend because I think you were talking about the lessons that you learn in Scooby-Doo. I always felt that Godzilla's Revenge is overlooked because I think it's a really good kids movie. And showing a kid should stand up for themselves, and I do love Gabra.
Yes.
Yeah, Gabra's kind of scary.
I think it's getting past, Emilia going, hey, over here.
But it's a kid's fantasy.
It's a movie. It's a fantasy. I love that.
Okay,
I love that.
See, look,
You don't like this.
As a kid, it insulted me. I was insulted, okay? But then the fun...
intense, I love it.
You sounded like you were a really fun kid at parties.
No, I was fun at parties. But here's the thing.
He was not fun at parties.
I'm talking. So what was interesting was we did a show about Godzilla. We had the late John Fasano on our show. He was one of the screenwriters for Tombstone. And he brought up a very interesting point, and I never really thought about it. And he said, Larry, when I saw that film, because he was... chubby and picked on. He said, that film taught me to stand up for myself. And I started to look at the film in a different way. And yes, they used some footage from other films. Gabra looks great, though, but I started to appreciate it later in life. But as a kid, I wasn't really a fan.
I liked it. All right. I used to skip school in first grade just to stay home and watch these things.
Wow.
Whoa.
Nice.
He's like you, Matt.
And I felt like that little kid. I didn't want to go to school, and kids are terrible because kids are real monsters.
No, they are.
But,
Yes, that's true.
Right.
So I hadn't seen that for years and years and years till I brushed up on it when we did the podcast. Like, I need to watch this again. I think it holds up. I think kids could watch it today, and it's just one of those things that when you make it. Just like Batman and Robin. Everyone hates Batman and Robin, but when you watch it when you're a kid, it's what you know as Batman and Robin.
Sure,
so
right.
I think
That's all you got.
It's like the Star Wars movies.
Yeah. Time has been kind to that film, and I think it has a place. Once again, Godzilla is like Batman. You can put him in black and white. You can put him in the future, the past. Gangster Godzilla. It all works out.
Yeah.
Kids
Godzilla.
But and I do love. Go
I'm
ahead.
saying on those same lines, that's why I like the Matthew Broderick Godzilla.
All right.
Okay, we're done.
What is he doing on your show?
Done here. We're done.
Producer Daniel are not necessarily those of the Kaiju Club podcast.
All right. Cut the mic.
It's funny. It's funny, sir, because it's interesting. Many Godzilla fans out there, we kind of don't even acknowledge that film. What planet are you from?
Planet Taco Bell marketing. It was amazing.
I will admit that.
really.
I do have the little chihuahua that goes, "Quiero Taco Bell."
Here, lizard.
I did like that, but see, the thing that gets me. No. The thing that gets me is I met Matthew Broderick years ago, and I like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Hey, but I felt like he was always gonna crack a joke throughout that he didn't take it seriously, and I want people to take it seriously, and that irked me. And also, Sean had a great review about it. It seemed like a frightened monster running around, and you hate it.
And to me also, I just thought aesthetically the design of Godzilla was not interesting at all.
It was
they blew
way
that.
off. It was really bad.
Yeah.
But when I was young when I first came out, and when you're eating 20 gorditas to try to get the Z, you're really into this film.
Yeah,
I did like the as a filmmaker now, as somebody now, you look back on the movie like this is completely awful. But to think of a director going, yeah, but is it measured right? Is the scale of Godzilla accurate or not? And that was what they hyped on throughout the entire film.
Yeah,
and
it was.
Now looking back on it, obviously horrific. But it has a small place in my heart. Small.
The best thing about that film, is there was an ice cream that was made, ice cream company that made this vanilla and little chocolate Godzillas in it, and I love that so much. My wife got me a bunch of those, and I still have an empty container, at home.
That's great. I have a remote control, like one of the toys that they put out, this rubberized kind of remote control with the cord. and I like that because I like the toy.
Right,
and
right.
I wasn't as negative about the design as a lot of people were. I didn't love it, but I thought like, okay, well, this is their take, and I'm going to allow them to have their own take on this, and that's fine. But it's the rest of the movie that is the problem.
Yeah.
Well, other than the only thing that I remember is the awful part, the awful design, which I get it now. It's the awful design, and then they had Mayor Ebert and Siskel
that was
as
so
the senator.
strange.
And I'm like that. They ran with that joke so long. And as a child, I was like, "This is great. This is genius."
Okay. This is enough of that Godzilla. But let me get close. You guys are Godzilla fans now. Collectibles. No. Godzilla collectibles. Do you guys have a Godzilla collection of toys at home?
It is growing. Our living room is slowly being transformed into a shrine to Godzilla.
Wow.
Ooh,
nice.
Ooh, like what? Do you have any vintage stuff?
Most of it's new. I've been on the hunt for the Shogun Warriors Godzilla because I got that for my birthday in kindergarten. So I got all the Shogun Warriors at once because I had chicken pox and no one could go to my birthday. So my mom compensated and got me all of them.
Oh, that's cool.
That's a good mom.
That's cool.
Yeah, she was great.
I wouldn't give a shit about my birthday party at that.
No, who needs friends?
My birthday parties with the Shogun Warriors. We had a great time.
Yeah, those are your friends.
But
can your friends shoot a fist off it?
You had the Godzilla at the same time. Do you still have it?
I do not.
My
nephew.
What?
He had it.
He actually gave a gift to someone he loved.
To a family member.
I have mine.
I know because
you hoard it.
I bet you still have your box unopened. Talk.
Okay, it's sealed. How do you know what? No, the Toynami one. I still have him sealed in the package.
Okay.
How much fun is that?
It is.
Yeah.
It's not. No, it's not fun.
It is because you can take.
No.
You can remove the lid and there he is, still stuck in there.
Wow, what a sad life.
Not touched by human hands.
He's like Larry.
Not touched by human
Let me
hands.
out. I mean, talk about loads of fun.
Which is what?
Have you seen the spreadsheet that he must have where this is all laid out very
Can I tell you something?
We don't need to talk about
No. Listen, So he has this toy collection, a great collection, by the way. There's no denying that. But what he would do, he had it all in his garage in these boxes because everything's got to stay in the package. So he would then show us this folder that he made of all the pictures of what he had, and that's how we're supposed to experience.
That's very your Funko Pop collection, which is mostly in storage. Yeah.
So you guys live together?
Yes.
Okay. And so is there a line of demarcation of this is yours, this is mine?
It's becoming
like a sitcom. We just put tape down the middle of.
Right.
It's becoming more of a blended family. As long as it's safe from the dog, that's a very important. Where it can go to not get destroyed.
Right. Okay.
The living room is half Elvira, half Godzilla.
Cool.
He-Man.
Nice.
He-Man, yes.
Nice.
I would say I will flex a little bit. The crown jewel of our collection is a signed limited shag print, one of his Godzilla pieces.
Which one?
It's the one with all of them. Yeah, I forget what the title is. Pink colorway.
Yeah.
With Godzilla, Mothra, Ghidorah, and two of the.
I have that one too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No,
my wife and I have several shag prints in our house. Yeah, and we have his chimenea, that little shag fire pit thing that he designed in our backyard.
Awesome.
We had him on the show.
Yeah, we had Shag in our episode. Yeah, so we got to listen to that episode. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
You know what's funny
Love
about
him.
Shag? Very talented artist, really great guy, very nice guy. But we love science fiction and fantasy and horror. We are
James.
Well, some of us here may not like it, but we were talking about what would be a cool thing for him to do, and because he's done Star Wars, wouldn't it be good to do a Star Trek thing? And he said, I will never do Star Trek.
Wow.
And we asked him, and he goes, well, it's because that's what everyone expects me to do, because it's classic 60s. And we're like, well...
Maybe eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you could make...
Low-hanging fruit is the easy, is the best. I could, all the ladies of Star Trek partying on a planet.
Yeah. There's so many concepts.
The Gorn and a little, drinking a tiki drink.
Cocktail with Saturn rings around.
I love it so much.
Hey, the Gorn drinking out of Kirk's homemade cannon.
Yeah. And it's all Tranya.
It's like, are you crazy? It's a gold mine.
But look at he's done the Universal Monsters, amazing stuff. And he's done like Jerry Anderson
I got a
stuff.
Scooby-Doo one for my birthday, the big Scooby-Doo tiki.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
In front of him, let him know that I would love a Tron.
That's a great idea too. Yeah.
Getting a little away from Godzilla there, but
but no, hey, that's cool.
While I got the mic, I got to get that into the universe.
No, we like Tron. Wait, Matt, do you have a Tron set?
Well, they just recently came out with this. They put out what's the company?
Is it NECA?
I think it
was kind of like
there was
NECA.
an original set that came out.
There
when
was
the film
this
came out.
Nicely like
Well, no, but they recently came out with these wonderful, really nicely articulated and sculpted figures of Tron,
all the characters, right?
And so I got those as a present. But then I'm at, I think it was MONSTERPALOOZA, and I'm walking around and I see that they repackaged the whole thing to put them in, like the box looks like an arcade video game.
The original
really
arcade.
Cool.
Don't tell him.
And I'm telling you, and it's on. By the way, it's on sale on Amazon.
No, you have to look.
To wrap this up,
but you got to see this thing because they're all displayed inside this box, and then the window is the screen. They even include like a little joystick on it just for fun, right?
And they're in positions.
And they're all positioned, and then you press the buttons, and they light up with like a black light.
It's the
and
coolest.
then another button is black light and like a bunch of different colored lights.
Right.
It is the single greatest packaging of a toy ever. Get it now.
I'm sold. Yeah, no, you don't have to tell me again. I'm in.
I have to stop him from buying $500 Tron shoes, and now you're.
I want some Tron shoes.
Yeah.
We have data discs. There's
Nice.
Tron things in the house.
Discs. Yeah.
Well, guys, I got to tell you, this has been great. What is the name of your podcast again?
We are Bradzilla and Chris Kong's Kaiju Club.
Okay.
Nice.
Where can people
Check it out.
Now on Facebook, we're going to get onto YouTube and everything else where things are sold. We're doing a video podcast, so that's why it takes a little while to get out.
Sure.
But keep in touch.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll find you guys on the
You guys on our show.
Yes, absolutely.
We would completely do that.
Are you having fun?
Oh, as long as we're having a good time.
That's
usually.
right.
So yeah.
Awesome.
And then
Thanks,
maybe
guys.
eventually you'll get to the cartoon stage too. So
So if you see our sticker, we do actually have an illustrator on our team. who's
Nice.
doing beautiful
Nice.
artwork.
Yeah.
for
I
us,
love
and
this.
We release like a
Nice.
different kaiju kind of merit badge with every episode.
Oh, that's cool.
Wow.
I like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great idea.
Freddie Luna. Find him on Facebook.
Sorry,
Fre-
Marcus,
Freddie Luna.
Absolutely. Freddie Luna is doing incredible work for us. His drawings are beautiful and super fun, and he's been a great member of the club.
Luna spelled
UNA.
okay.
Well, guys, thank you so much for stopping
thanks,
by.
guys.
Yeah.
We'll look forward
Yeah.
to listening to your podcast. Thanks again, guys. Thanks for.
episodes to listen to. We're going to be like, how do we copy this? Okay.
Guys, thank you
Please.
so much.
Thank you, man.
All right,
Best of
guys.
luck.
So, guys, what I love is when we're.
What do you love?
Hey, it's our neighbor.
Okay,
That's right.
None of that was real, by the way.
This is Ron,
Hi.
and he is our neighbor.
He is our neighbor.
Yes. Howdy, neighbor. Let me change my shoes and put on my cardigan.
Well, not that kind of neighbor.
Oh.
But what's so great is, we thought that when he got here, it's like, oh, he's just one of these little vendors stuff. But you
Little
do more
vendor.
than just vending here. You've got squishies and things, but you also represent some of the talent here.
I don't know who told you that, but so I met a couple of these amazing celebrities at some other shows, and I am the producer and showrunner for Rocketown Comic-Con that's up in Lompoc every year. We also do Capitola Comic-Con, which is up in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
We had to postpone last year because that atmospheric river that came through did some damage to one of the venues, so we had to postpone it for a year, but it's going to be back next year. And one of my good friends, Mark Anthony Austin, who plays Boba Fett in New Hope Special Edition, came up to my show in Lompoc last year and he says, hey, my good friend Alexis RHEE, who was the geisha in Blade Runner, she's never done a show ever.
Wow.
And he's like, can she ride along? And I was like, sure, come on up. So I think she only did like 3 autographs for the entire weekend. but it opened her eyes to see the convention circuit, to see what we do and what actors do to supplement their incomes, when they're not filming or SAG strike. Let's get them out. Let's get money in their pockets.
Yeah.
My talent group is called Kitschy Talent Group. We have been doing this for about a year, and we started with 3 people. We started with 3 guys that asked us for some help in the booking them into shows.
Who were they?
I'm not going to...
Okay, all right.
Star Wars cast members.
Okay.
Star Wars cast members.
That works.
Yeah.
That works.
Because they jumped ship from their current
I see.
to come to us,
Right,
and there's
right.
still some bad blood out there.
I got it. I got
But
it.
if you don't treat your clients right, they're going to leave you.
Yeah,
Right.
totally.
Okay? And the really cool thing about our group is we are commission free. So if you're in a talent and you're like not happy with giving 3, 5, 10% to your appearance agent, and all they do is make a phone call for that money, come to us. I can do the same thing for nothing.
Yeah.
I learned, and then they come to me and say, well, how do you make your money? I learned from George Lucas. Merchandise. So we have accounts with Funko, Loungefly, Super 7, Entertainment Earth, all of those guys. So we will buy the actor's Funko. We pay X amount. We then sell it for X amount at a show.
Right.
That's where I make my money. I will never touch a client's autograph money, period.
Wow.
That's a
Why
nice
should I make
model.
money on their hard work
Yeah.
for whatever movie they did, anime, voices, commercials, music videos? We just signed a new music video girl from back in the 80s. She was known on was MTV show, the Ricky Rackman, what was it, the Headbangers Ball. She was very predominantly shown on that show. So we just signed her last night. And she's my first musical client. Usually we have voice, John Swayze, love John. He does his own bookings, but he has now entrusted us to go for him and say, hey, go get me stuff. We are working with him to bring him to Dubai at the end of this year.
Wow.
You know you've hit it when you got a Sheikh or a prince from Dubai calling you.
Yes.
Saying,
Yeah.
hey, I want your guy. And I'm like, there are some travel restrictions we got to be careful with over there. And, it's still a volatile area in the Middle East.
Sure.
And I don't want to put one of my clients into jeopardy anywhere.
course,
Yes.
yeah.
So, I got to vet the client, vet the promoter, vet the show, vet the venue. Because they're not going to pay for my ticket to go over there. I mean, a ticket to Dubai, one way, it's like $1,800.
Wow.
Okay.
But, John's never been overseas like that before. And when they reached out to me saying, hey, can you get John? Yes. So I called John. I'm like, hey, John, Dubai called. And he's like, get out of here. I'm like, no, dude. Dubai called. They want you. And he's like, oh, how do they know me? And I'm like, here, let me send you the link to this guy. He's the one that, if you see on Instagram, has this vault where he has Superman 1, Batman 1.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yes. Yeah, he's a little dude. Sorry if you're going to hear this, Shake. I apologize.
It's all right.
He has this $1 billion comic book store in Dubai in one of the malls there. And he just had Chris Hemsworth for 3 days.
Wow.
Come out and do that. And you got money when you can call Hemsworth and go, I want you there.
Yeah.
And when Dubai calls, you answer.
Yeah.
I'll answer.
Because $1 to us is worth like 4 cents to them. They have absurd money. And when he threw out the quote for John, I was like, John, there's no way you can pass this up.
No.
And he goes, we still commission free? I'm like, yep. And he goes, book it. And I'm like, John, we're always commission free.
That's awesome.
I take care of my talent, whether you're an A-plus lister to a background actor. I will treat you guys the same no matter what. And coming here with Scott Zilner, love Scott. We've done his
Us
show,
too.
past few shows.
Yeah.
We did Pasadena Con. We love that show. We didn't get into Power Morph Con last year because we had a conflict of shows.
Okay.
So I had to be somewhere else. But Scott is always somebody I go, hey, I want to bring some talent on my own. And he's like, deal, what do you need from us? And I will always bring my big stars to his shows. And here, we brought Alexis RHEE, who this is her 3rd appearance ever
awesome.
Amazing.
at a show.
And she's a delight.
She's so fun. I love her.
She's so cool.
Isn't she? She's
Yeah.
just the sweetest
Just
person.
a ray of sunshine.
She is.
Really.
She is. And it's all real with
Yeah.
her. It's not
Yeah,
fake.
yeah.
And she's the same. When I met her the very first time with Mark Austin, and now she did, we brought her out for the Hollywood show, where we brought Mark Anthony Austin, we brought Alexis, and Daniel Bauman, who plays Leia's protocol droid in Obi-Wan. He was the server droid that brought her the food.
Yeah, right.
So we brought him, and then Chris Bartlett showed up.
who's C-3PO, and he's all the other droids too. So he came to hang out for a little bit and show support. And it's the Star Wars community, which I'm a very big part of.
Mm-hmm.
I've had some parts. And it's when somebody's close by, you show up. You know, you could have had a scene with them, and they'll remember you. And you go, well, what are you doing here? Came to see you. You know, that's the way it is.
Well, you said you had some parts, meaning you had some parts in some
501st
Star
Legion
Wars?
used some troopers for Mando Season 1, Episode 7 and 8.
Great.
Wow.
So there's some other stuff that's in the pipeline. So because of the strike, we're not allowed to talk about.
Sure.
Can you tell us who else you brought today?
Yeah, one of the coolest guys I met him through a friend of mine, Big Mike, and Big Mike is now our director of media relations, and he handles a lot of PR stuff for us. And I met him through Rory Ross, Rory is Mando Merc, so he was in Mando Season 3. At the end, he was up on top when they drew guns on Carson Teva, so he was up there on that, and we just met and talked, and you know, Big Mike's like, well, I got this guy over here I want you to meet. And I was like, okay. And he goes, are you a Turtle fan? And I was like, back in the day I was. And he goes, well, you know who Shredder is, right? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, you want to meet Shredder from the Bay series? And I was like, yeah. So during the Hollywood show a month and a half ago, he was here. So I introduced myself. And anytime I meet a celebrity, I always go, is your appearance agent here with you? Or is your talent agent here with you? I want to make sure they are here, so while we're talking, even if it's about just, hey, can you sign an autograph for me or do this, I want to make sure there's no improprieties being done, where I'm not poaching a client or anything like that, because in this industry, it happens every show. And I always tell my people, we're not exclusive. I'll get to honestly, people, I'll tell you who it is here in a second. But other agents do come to shows and they steal clients, and I think that's ridiculous. You know, we are a non-exclusive talent group, where if you don't like what we're doing for you in 3 weeks, 6 months, a year, handshake, no problem, no foul, no problem.
Wow.
But they always call me back 4 months later after they went to somebody else going, hey, I'd like to come back. I've already had 4 people come back after taking a hiatus from my talent group.
Wow.
But I'm fair with everybody. So getting back to who we also brought was Shredder. So TOHORU came. And he's sitting over his booth right now, and he's signing pictures with my stepkid. And she's just so enamored. She's 12. And so we brought out some stuff, and people are just like, that's the Bay Shredder? And we're like, yeah. And like, people are just going crazy over him. So this is his, I think. Hey, TOHORU, how many shows have you done? Signing autographs. How many have you done? What number is this? This is his second show.
Wow.
So when I... So
we gotta talk to him.
So when I met him, I basically just laid out what we can do for you, and he's like, "Well, fine." I said, about 3 weeks ago, get an email from Scott ZILNER, promoter of this show. He's like, "Hey, we're doing a Japanese show. Any clients want to come?" And I was like, "I have 2. Well, one is Korean American, Alexis. Everybody thinks she is Japanese, but she's not. She's Korean. But then we've got Shredder," and he's like, I got some tables for you. And I was like, deal, let's do it. Wow. And when we promoted it on our Instagram and when these guys promoted on their Instagram, the likes and follows were a lot bigger than some the other stars they had come.
Right.
Because this is his second show ever.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is a perfect show for him because it is a Japanese culture-based convention.
Sure, yeah.
And everybody knows Master Shredder and Ninja Turtles and all that stuff. So it was a no-brainer bringing him here. And just to see the smile on his face and meeting the fans and giving them experiences that they didn't know really existed. You know, when he tells me, I didn't know this stuff existed for us. Alexis, for 30 years, she's never known about this or to show up at a show or promote herself or know somebody to help her get into things.
Right.
And then she comes to me and says, I never know this happened. I didn't know I could make money off my autograph at a show. I'm like, Alexis, you're going to have fans that have been fans of yours for 40 plus years.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
That are like,
she's an icon.
It's the geisha.
Yeah.
Right? And people are like, you're not really the geisha. And then when she does the little thing with her hand, you're like, that's you. And a gentleman came up today with this amazing
painting he did, and I'm sure Monster Party has already taken a picture of it, so they'll put it on the teaser or the show notes for you guys and show like this is what we're talking about. She couldn't believe it. Like, oh my God, I have fans like this? Yes, you have fans that want to come see you.
I told her that she should sell little, like maybe candy chocolate placebo pills.
Yeah. I don't want the placebo one. I want the other one.
I don't know what it is, but I want it.
Was there anyone else you brought?
Not today. Not today. We were going to bring Mary Gibbs, who is the voice of Boo, but there's a competing agency here.
Okay.
That we both book. She uses us to book her through, and when that other agency is here, I try not to step on their toes.
Right.
Because they had her first. But we do have some other things in the pipeline for other local shows that we would love to bring on your show.
Right.
If you'd like to have one of any of my clients on my roster dial in with you guys,
Yeah, for sure.
Fantastic.
Sure.
Yeah.
I have to say, we seem to be so lucky to get this booth where we are, to be next door to you and across from these amazing, talented people.
Yes.
So, Rob, I just want to thank you again so much for stopping by and being such a great neighbor.
No worries. I mean, you guys are quiet. You know, there's no parties after 10 o'clock at night. You're the guys and the type of neighbors that if I run out of sugar, can I have a cup of sugar?
Yes.
You know, so having neighbors like you
Sugar
guys,
in quotes.
Sugar, yeah, real sugar.
Yeah.
You know? But I love what you guys do. Your podcast is really great. From what I hear from people who walk by going, I love your podcast. You're the best. Godzilla was the best. You know, hearing things like that, I mean, it solidifies and verifies for you guys of what you do for the fans.
Sure.
Right.
And that goes back to like me. I'm a fan that runs a Comic-Con. So it's a fan show run by the fans.
Yes.
Right.
We are
right.
fans.
Exactly.
We're fans.
Fans first. Yeah.
Yes.
Fans for fans first. And I will never go corporate. And that's why a lot of people like coming back to me, is because they know I'm walking around, it's me, it's my show.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to just see me as a figurehead and have somebody else run it.
Right.
Like
right.
Official Picks or Reed Pop or stuff like that do a lot of the celebration stuff. That'll never be me. Because I like to have one-on-one control with everything.
Right.
I like to know where everything is. I like to know who my celebrities are that are coming. I need to make sure their guarantees are done correctly and everybody leaves happy.
Yeah.
Everybody leaves my show happy. Whether you're a talent, you guys are a podcaster. Yeah.
We like to leaving happy. That's what we do.
And from every direction, you're just doing a great service, because not only are you, you have the business end that you're enjoying, but you're bringing these people to us. And as fans, we could not be more delighted.
I want to say thank you so much for being such a great neighbor. We really appreciate it. Thank you for bringing these amazing guests. And we're going to be in touch, man.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Monster Party.
It's in the house.
Make sure you check all their socials and everything like that.
Yeah.
Can I plug ours?
Absolutely. Of course.
Okay. Our Comic-Con is called Rocket Town Comic-Con. It's in Lompoc every May. This year, May 4th. We're doing May 4th and 5th in conjunction with Free Comic Book Day.
Okay.
So Archie's Comics has already agreed to come up and give out free comics to people.
Oh, great.
Wow.
I mean, Archie is like, cool, right?
Yeah.
That's old school. I'm 51, and like Archie's were my go-tos on the weekends.
Yeah.
Right before DC, Marvel. And then you get all this other crazy stuff like Archie's was my jam.
Yeah.
So, and then our big Star Wars Day, and but our pages are Rocket Town Comic Con on Instagram, Kitschy Talent Group.
Okay.
So you'll see who all of our actors are. And if you're out there and if you're in LA or somewhere close and you want to have one of these celebs at your show or your event, let me know. You know, the SAG strike right now, a lot of these guys are not making any money.
Yeah.
So they're willing to do pretty much anything to help out the situation, and that's what we're here for. So.
Great.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Rob, thank you so much. This has been so great.
Thank you,
so
Rob.
much, buddy.
Monster Party.
Thanks, buddy. Hang on a second. Wait. No. Okay. So, no. Okay,
so we're back,
Rob,
and there's a reason why we're back.
Rob walks away, and then his lovely wife comes up. Your name?
Oh, Tiffany.
Tiffany, the lovely Tiffany comes up, and then we find out, oh my gosh, you like Star Trek.
Big Star Trek fan.
And she's a horror fan.
And major horror fan.
Major horror fan.
But it's like your husband, who we really like.
Not married yet.
But okay. But he doesn't like Star Trek.
No, or horror.
It's cheesy. What? What?
It's cheesy.
And Star Wars isn't. Are you kidding me?
I will divulge one little thing about Ahsoka that you guys are going to see next week. One of the
You'll be getting in trouble.
opening scenes, they teleport somebody to the bridge in Ahsoka. And I'm like...
So they stole from Star Trek.
I'm like, really? You can't... It's like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory when Mike TV went through the sky in 1,000,000 pixels and then shows up over here. I'm like, Star Trek, really? And I know I'm going to get hate because we represent somebody for what series?
You're going to get hate.
But yet you can bank, you can do like, you can fly your spaceship in space like it's a jet fighter. And that's not ridiculous?
Star Wars is basically a opera saga.
Spaghetti Western. It's a spaghetti Western in space.
Star Wars is also
Or,
sci-fi fantasy, whereas
Right.
Star Trek is more hard sci-fi.
Right, hard sci-fi.
Right.
A lot of our tech that we have is based on Star Trek. I mean,
Right.
the argument is ridiculous. I mean, iPads, iPhones, anything. Your first flip phone was Star Trek.
Yeah, what do you think about that, Rob? Communicator. Okay, look. Okay, so we're all very passionate fans. That's what we're getting.
I am way more passionate for Star Wars than Star Trek.
Well, that's clear.
Okay. All of my Star Trek clients and...
No,
How about Space Academy? How do you feel about that?
Okay, no. Okay.
Never mind.
Let me tell you something. I'm not a Star Trek fan.
But you know, maybe we should have James and Rob hang out together.
Well, they should, definitely.
And we should strap
But-
them down to watch an episode.
But then I brought up, when we were not on the air, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and you had some not so nice words about
I
it.
was never a fan of it. Like,
And that is amazing to me because it is, aside from the original Star Trek, and you know what? Next Generation gets a pass in a lot of ways because it was the one that kind of paved the way for actually a lot of modern science fiction shows.
Yeah, that's true.
It was the one that showed you that you could do something that was adult with a high production value and it would be profitable. And so, I mean, I give it a lot of, you're finding your way in the early seasons.
Right.
But Deep Space Nine is a sprawling saga, and it's one that people write off. And I don't get it because a lot of people like Voyager, and I've been going through all the Voyagers. Okay, we can agree on that then. Because there are a lot
like
of...
Voyager. They had a rough time
And I
getting
do
going.
too, but I'm on season 6 right now, and there's a lot of clunkers because they just ran out of gas. They ran out of ideas.
Too many spin-offs.
Excuse me? Wait a minute.
What, a
was that?
Star
Are we
Wars?
talking about
Star Wars?
Sorry.
Star Wars?
The Ewok movies, Ahsoka, Mandalorian, Andor.
The Christmas special.
Oh, should I keep going?
Christmas special.
Well, the Christmas specials.
I mean,
great.
I'm sorry. I mean, I love Star Wars. You know, it has a special place in my heart, but the spin-offs are terrible.
For the most part, I
it's
think
like
some are...
DC and Marvel. DC produces amazing TV series.
Yes.
Marvel produces the movies.
Yes.
DC tries to cram to see,
Right.
and so if DC movie, you have to know it's going to be crap when you go see it. But if they did, like the Flash movie,
Trying to get DC to come up for Comic Book Day and give out comics.
Sorry.
Don't trash the comic guys.
love the Flash series. I mean, my kid and I watch the Flash. We love it.
I love Doom Patrol.
I love Doom Patrol.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
You know, if we could talk all day.
Well, look, the thing is, the point here is we
start from the Dune Sea.
Look, we are all.
I'm sorry.
No, we're all
Tiffany,
passionate.
But Tiffany, I want to hear
earlier,
you.
I'm sorry.
Tiffany, you've said that you're a horror fan. I want to know, like, what era, what kind of stuff in horror? Because we love lots of horror.
So I grew up on I grew up in a very Christian household, so I was not allowed to really watch anything.
Which makes
so
it more enticing.
Channel 44 on Saturdays was all the 80s movies. Waxworks, Evil Dead, well, Army of Darkness, not Evil Dead yet.
Right. So 80s horror
So
is...
80s horror
is your sweet spot.
Is my heart.
Okay.
And that's why I asked you about the one person, because Army of Darkness is like Bruce Campbell. I would leave him for Bruce Campbell. And
I think I'm for Bruce Campbell too. And Bruce, if you're listening, we would love to have you at our show next year.
Yeah.
Get in touch with these guys at Monster
And if
Party,
you-
please.
But it's so funny because now my kids all love horror. My mom, we literally go to my mom's house and watch anything horror. And we
Nice.
are not
Fun.
right growing up in the Christian household, and then now all of a sudden she's all into horror with us. But I'm not into slasher films.
Okay.
I only watched Friday the 13th for the first time, all of them, and I'm like,
But you watched all of them.
I've watched all of them.
Have you heard of the documentary series? There is a trilogy of documentary films called In Search of Darkness.
In Search of
These
Darkness.
these are literally 3 to 4 hour long documentaries each. There's 3 of them, and it covers by year from 80 to 89. All like 80s
You would
horror
love
films.
it.
Okay, yeah,
And
no, I
it's-
need to watch
it's
that.
amazing.
Produced and directed by David Weiner, who used to be the
who was
editor.
a editor of Famous Monsters magazine.
Yes.
And he's a good friend of
Prime, is it
ours,
on
and he's
Netflix?
on Shudder. Shudder actually has
Shudder,
them.
yes,
Oh,
right.
I have Shudder.
Yeah, Shudder's great. Yeah, so check him out.
Check us out. It's we were invited to the premiere, and I was riveted.
4 hours.
4 hours.
Yeah.
Seriously, we were like just stunned.
We
How
were
many
fine.
interviews?
It's like a deep dive into like
Yeah.
these movies. Yeah, it's
Okay,
really cool.
yeah, because I
And he
grew up
has
on that.
done a science fiction one, so maybe
Oh.
something
Well,
for you.
sci-fi in the
But
80s.
he's not even science fiction. He's just Star Wars and
interesting.
sports.
It's
All
okay.
right.
You know what?
Shut off the mic.
I will say this. He is a lovely man, and I think you're lucky, and he does a wonderful job.
Payment in cash or card.
No. But again, guys, I want to thank you for being such great neighbors and for stopping by. Check out that
I
documentary.
will, for sure. Thank you again.
All right, guys. All right, guys, what's really exciting is when you have someone stop by your booth to show you something really cool. Now I'm here with these 2 gentlemen. Gentlemen, can I get your names?
My name is Craig Barcinas. I go by Grim the Dragon Tail.
I'm David, the mayor of Toyzilla.
Well, guys, thank you so much for being here. I think you're like a neighbor over on the opposite
They're neighbors.
side. But you guys got some cool things here. Can you tell us a bit about these things?
Yeah, so we've actually been doing these for a while now. We do art series, Funko Pops, that we then get autographed by voice actors, by creators. And for this show, we couldn't think of anyone bigger or better than Tsuyoshi Nanaka, who is the original creator designer of the Megazord.
Wow.
Yeah, and so we got a Megazord pop, and we did some pretty sick art on here.
Oh my gosh, look at all the drawings there.
And Megazord.
Yeah, we got the Megazord Power Coin here, and then here's the Megazord.
And for people who don't know,
Yes,
could you
right.
tell us who Megazord is?
Well, actually,
because not everyone knows.
So the Megazord was originally from Jew Ranger from Super Sentai, and then when it got brought over to America for the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, it became the Dino Megazord.
okay. All right.
The one that people know is the Tyrannosaurus, Saber-toothed Tiger, Mastodon,
Right, right.
Triceratops, and Pterodactyl. But basically, it was one of the biggest things in the 90s in terms of American pop culture to come over here from Japanese culture. And it was just like, if you didn't watch the show or have one of those in the 90s as a kid, it was like, you're missing out.
Well, yeah, but see, the funny thing is, if you were at Toys R Us, you would see, I don't know what that is, but it looks so cool, right?
Oh, it was the hardest thing to get. I remember, in the 90s, you could not buy them. It was everyone's top of their Christmas list, and no parent could, score one. They were calling every Toys R Us, running around trying to get it.
It was a big Mega Zero.
Yeah. So
All right, everybody, calm down.
I'm sought after now, and but then I can show you what I'm doing. And there's a certificate, on the back, and then this is what I'm working on right now. I'm still finishing. It's work in progress. It takes quite a while. A lot of painting.
Oh my gosh.
Coloring and going back and forth, and
Right.
you'll see here. And so we kind of do it like an animation cell where the line art's done on the front window, and then we're coloring in on the inside.
Oh,
here.
wow. You're coloring it upside down almost.
Yeah, it's challenging to do because you're trying to color upside down, inside out, and try to
that is just crazy, and it takes an awful lot of time.
But that adds a nice extra element of uniqueness to the.
Sure. Oh yeah.
It makes it that much more unique. So
Yeah.
I mean, by the way, we are actually selling this one here in about 30 minutes on our Whatnot stream. So that's how we sell them. We show them off. We have the creators who worked on it sign it live, and then
That's cool. And just so everyone knows, this is a really cool thing that I liked when I got introduced into collaborating with the art series, is that every single one of the art series is just a little bit different. So everyone that gets one is slightly unique to the one that you like.
Yes, because basically it's a work of art is what you're getting in addition to the toy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. An artist hand painted this, and then this is one that we're doing as a concept right now to see if people like it. And then if it doesn't score, then we don't do it. So this one, I was like, I love Godzilla.
Godzilla.
Obviously, Toyzilla, is name my store, and so they have the live action, the guy who not wore the suit, but is the motion capture actor
Right.
over there who plays Godzilla. And so we're going to have him sign this one, too, in about a half hour.
That is so cool. And what is, just for listeners out there, what does something like this run? What's the ballpark?
It's usually between...
Because it's artwork in addition to the toy.
It's usually between $100 and $200, especially with the autograph. So it's got my autograph as the artist, and we teamed up on these, so it probably has both of our autographs, and then also the original designer, so... Yeah.
Now, let's say something like this doesn't sell. Can they go someplace online to check these things out? Or
Toyzilla.com. They can check them out. And we'll put them up there. We'll try them out, too. Our whatnot.com, but it's Toyzilla. That's where we're trying these out, experimenting, and see what people want and what they don't like. And then, we put them up for $1. So sometimes they sell for $1 or they don't sell at all. Wow.
And if you guys do want to see like a little preview of what, other people thought of our previous ones, you can always head to the Instagram, the Toyzilla store Instagram, and check out the recent comments from, our past art series and stuff like that as well.
Well, guys, I want to thank you so much for coming by because this is so cool. It's a little piece of original artwork along with an actual toy. So you guys have to check out Toyzilla.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys.
Toyzilla.
Thank you, Monster Party, for having us over, and we look forward to doing one in the future.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Great job.
Cheers. And now let's get in our time machines, which James hates, and go back in time to Friday night at the Japan World Heroes Expo and listen in on some classic Matt and James banter.
Sex and horror.
Who would have thought that they would have made a convention called Sex and Horror?
That would actually do pretty well.
I think so, yeah. No, we are not at that convention.
Unfortunately.
It is. Although this is pretty wonderful.
Oh, no, this is beautiful.
It's the end of the day, Friday, Japan World Heroes Convention.
Yeah.
We're not going to lie to you. There's a little bit of a lag time with us because we didn't get a lot of sleep last night.
Nope.
James is visiting. He's in the guest room.
Crashing.
And so, we were up till all hours, of course, talking about movies and everything else that pisses us off. And
yeah, it was great.
And that was great. But then both of us had things that all just kept us awake. And so here we are. I thought, you were doing fine.
I was.
I thought I was doing okay. And then all of a sudden, I heard a voice call me to that special private place in my head where I go when there's not enough stimuli happening at that exact second. Tomorrow's going to be the big day. And here we are. We're watching someone set up the booth for the woman who played the geisha on the big video screen in Blade Runner.
Yeah, iconic image.
Yes.
And I'm happy to say I had a moment with her.
Yeah, you had a little talk with her, right?
Yeah, because our neighbor here, she's sitting across from us, and our neighbor is the promoter who brought her here. So he introduced us, and I had brought with me a T-shirt that bears her image, which is an unusual Blade Runner T-shirt. You don't really see it all the time.
No.
She had never seen it.
Wow.
And the reason I brought it was to take a picture with her. And she was so excited by it, I just gifted it to her.
Oh.
It's like 3 sizes too big for her, but...
Did you cut out the nipples first? Or that's normally your modus operandi.
I can easily pick up another one. I don't know if it would be that easy for her. So
that's really sweet of you.
Well, I wanted her to have it. I was privileged for her to have it. And, and I'm, I guess she's going to be wearing it all weekend, and I'm glad to make her happy like that. Plus, I got a free autograph out of it, so there's that.
Hey, right, yeah, that's great.
But her name is Alexis, and she's actually not Japanese. She's Korean American.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. But she worked on Blade Runner, she said, for 1 day.
Uh-huh.
But she did have stories about Ridley Scott and Sean Young.
Really?
And I look forward to chatting with her tomorrow. So that'll be fun.
I can't wait. I mean, again, it's one of those things where I don't know how many times I saw that face throughout my life.
Yeah.
Watching that movie, which is one that I think we can both admit that we go back to it.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yes.
All the time.
All the time. It's like watching a painting that I really love and admire. And I just sometimes, even if you turn the sound off and just look at everything,
Mhm.
it's still incredibly beautiful and entertaining.
Or not even look at it, but have the sound on and just
Oh,
listen
there's
to
that
it,
too.
because
Yeah.
you've got the music.
Oh,
and the,
yeah, the
you know,
music.
sound
Yes.
design. It's all.
It's
all-
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of that film, I remember seeing it in the theater,
Mhm.
and it was interesting at the end of the movie how the audience reacted. And it was like, you know, the little, like the question mark above everybody's head kind of a thing
Yeah.
of I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah, because it's not a typical narrative of, you know, a hero and a villain,
Right.
And you know, the hero gets the girl and conquers the villain. There's a lot of ambiguity in it and poetry, and that's what makes it so beautiful and arresting and gives it its longevity.
Yeah.
And that's part of why I had such a problem with the sequel, to be honest, because I did think that the villain was more black and white, and I didn't really find that same, you know, combination of beauty. I mean, not that I should have expected it, because it's a sequel after all, but I was disappointed. So,
Well, I will say this, and I've said it before, I will say it again. That movie, it's hard to top that.
yeah, sure.
And I really enjoyed the sequel, but I don't think it's in the same class as the original.
Mhm.
Not in any way.
Mhm.
In my opinion, it doesn't have the same kind of beauty.
Well, I guess there's expectation. You know, maybe expectation is the wrong word. I think I hold the original up as as sacred in a way to me. And if something's going to come around and reflect on it, you know, even as a sequel that's not expected to be as good, I just get a little bit testy. I get a little bit offended even.
But you don't like science fiction, so there's that part of it too. Where
but I love Blade
it's like
Runner.
more of the science fiction stuff came in, and you're like, I have a feeling these people aren't real humans. This isn't real. This
Well,
blows.
And look, all of this stuff, oh, Deckard's a replicant. He was always a replicant. How does the sequel answer that? How does it deal with that question? I walked out, I still didn't know.
Which is good.
It's a cop-out.
No, it's not.
It's bullshit.
You know, look, it's not a question, by the way.
It's not?
No. He's a replicant.
Well, how does the sequel make him out to be a replicant? I didn't walk away with any of that certainty. Or even that question. I just thought, okay, well, they just threw it away because they didn't know how to deal with it. It's lazy.
Well, yes, they don't put a definitive exclamation point on whether he's a replicant
I would
or
have
not.
settled for a comma.
But
there's nothing.
I don't think
Goose
there-
egg, zero.
And I don't care if anyone goes into 2, because, again, I like 2, but I don't put it in the same category as the first one. And the first one, especially if you're talking about the director's cut, he's a replicant. There's just no way around it. That's the whole point of the unicorn. And there's just no other answer. So anything, it's been a while, to be honest, since I've seen the sequel. I'll watch it again and see if I find anything for you. Because I do like it. I love a lot of just the scenes. I love the world building.
Yeah.
I agree that Jared Leto is kind of a
Two-dimensional
Yes.
villain. And
But to me, there was so much more that I did like. And it's hard to capture lightning in a bottle, and I think he did it much better in that film than he did in any of the Alien movies.
Well, I agree there. But again, I think it comes down to just feeling protective of the original to the point where my tolerance level for, you know, what's in the sequel is lower than maybe for other people.
My only thing with that I felt coming out of it was that they could have had a little more fun with Deckard when he was there.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, anything. Just throw me anything for God's
I think
sake.
they were being very careful about trying to overshadow
Ryan Gosling. Well, I mean, I don't know. It's just, as a fan of the original, I mean, you're giving me Edward James Olmos for a minute and a half as if it's supposed to make me happy. You're giving me Sean Young for 20 seconds as if it's supposed to make me happy. No. I'm just like, a little fan service could go a long way here. I'm just, bleh. Anyway.
But to write off the whole movie because of some of those things is, I think is really unfair.
It's more than that. The main thing is, for me, there's no real story that I could have come away with. There's no satisfying The elements, again, that I loved about the first movie are just missing from the second one, and for me it was a pointless exercise. And when I hear people, sing its praises, or at least defend it, I just don't get it. I want to say, okay, why did you think this was why did you enjoy this movie?
Well, it's the same thing of like, you like the songs in Man Called Flintstone.
Love the songs in Man Called Flintstone.
That's another one. I scratch my head and go, what's the matter with him?
Are you serious?
Yeah, no, they're awful.
Oh my God, they're brilliant.
Most of the songs that have been in the Flintstones, aside from like, the Beau Brummel Stones, are kind of, the minute they allowed Pebbles and Bam Bam to form a band, I was like, okay.
Yeah, but that's the series. The movie is a different animal. That's a special thing.
There's some songs that are, oh my God, we need to wrap this up.
No, you got a Maurice Chevalier tribute. You've got the spy stuff. It's brilliant.
It's been a while. I'm going to go and I'm going to watch the Blade Runner movie again so I have it fresher in my mind.
Okay.
As I said before, it's late in the day. My brain is mush.
Okay.
And it would be unfair to challenge me on the movie because then I'd have to remember things, and I can't remember anything right now.
Fair enough.
I'm having a little bit of trouble figuring out who you are.
You're
the angry old man who wants me off his lawn.
Oh. So your memory of the sequel is like Tears in the Rain right now.
Exactly.
Wow. Wow.
But we agree on other things.
It's we were just saying the other day that it's amazing how opinions are a funny thing because you can agree on so many things and disagree on others.
That's
like
right.
I was thinking Bone Tomahawk. I love that movie. I can't believe
No,
you
that's
didn't.
terrible.
I don't get it.
But a lot of people like it.
I know. I thought it was brilliant.
I think it's just, you talk about dull and lifeless and pointless.
I totally disagree.
And by the time, because what's happening is that you're building to this thing that you think is going to be this cool, cannibalistic, weird finale, and it's like everything you've ever seen before, just not as good.
Totally disagree.
Now, do I think that all the actors in it are doing a good job?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Kurt Russell, Richard Jenkins.
I love them all.
Yeah,
I love them all. I just think it's slow as molasses, and it's building to something that is a giant letdown. But, you don't like cannibal movies, so...
Especially cannibal science fiction movies. That's completely
Cannibals
out, right?
in space are the worst. Oh, my God.
Wow.
All right, let me ask you about this then. What do you think about Jason 10 or Jason X, where he's in space? Have you seen it?
I have not seen it.
How can you? Because you hate science fiction. No, that's unfair. I know.
No. I tuned out of the Friday the 13th series after the first one. Honestly,
But this is the funny one. You like comedy. It's satire.
None of
you don't
those,
like so you hate science fiction even if it's in funny.
The franchise did not merit my attention, I thought, after the first one. The Halloween franchise didn't merit my attention after the third one. I get to a point where it's like, look, I only have so much time in my life. I don't want to watch all of these movies. And I appreciate your appreciation of them, and I don't dispute that it might be worthwhile to go back and watch all of them.
I think you'd have a good time with it. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
And that's one that it was, so when we had Stephanie visiting, Stephanie Bordeaux.
Right.
She loves that movie.
Jason X?
Yes.
Okay.
And she, of course, immediately mentions the sleeping bag scene that is like laugh out loud funny.
Mm-hmm.
And for being satire and over the top, it also has some really unique, interesting kills.
Well, look,
and David Cronenberg's in it.
Is he?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, talking about being in space, so we were at Sean and Gina's one night, and they put on the Leprechaun in Space movie. Was it Leprechaun 2 or 3?
I forget.
Or 8 or
I'm not
10.
quite as fond of that one.
It was a goof. It was a good time.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
If you like that, you'll love the Jason one.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
See, we're coming together. Look at this. But you have to know this, James.
Yeah.
That as much as you hate science fiction and the fact that you can be a bit of a curmudgeon, I do respect your opinions about this, and I do give them serious thought. here's two examples. First of all, the obvious one, which is Monster Zero.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I reevaluated that and went, no, of course, this is the winner.
Well, I think there's a tendency, just because it has all these monsters in it, to say that Destroy All Monsters is like the best one. And compared to Monster Zero, it's just Monster Zero is so much more fun. It's got such a better pace, and it's funnier, and it's got Nick Adams and Kumi Mizuno.
And the space stuff is great. And that was always still a favorite of mine.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I had seen Destroy All Monsters more recently,
Mm-hmm.
and I did love all the monsters, and there's a lot of monster action in it.
Yeah.
And so, that was great. Oh, there's monsters on the screen all the time. And then there's also some great space stuff.
Sure, but the human element
but you're right.
leaden, it's
You're
dull,
absolutely
it's static
right.
compared
Absolutely
to Monster
right.
Zero.
Yep.
And it is fun to, reflect on these movies. And we can love them all, we can love the whole genre, but then to make the distinction on what makes some of them more interesting and entertaining and appealing to each of us.
Right.
Godzilla versus Biollante, I could sing its praises forever.
And that and that's another one. That's one that I've never disliked,
Mm-hmm.
but it is one that I've liked more and more.
Well, after, this was the movie that came out in the Heisei era after Godzilla 84 or Godzilla 85, and that movie was tough going. That's really slow paced. Godzilla vs. Biollante brought the whole genre, the whole series back for me.
And interesting concepts as well.
Yes, yeah, and the the recurring character of Mickey,
Right.
Sagusa the Psychic.
Yes.
I loved all of that.
Yeah,
and
me
there's,
too.
There's
me too.
moments in it where you've got where the kids are having psychic dreams and they all raise their crayon drawings of Godzilla. That's a wonderful
Yeah, that's
moment,
great. That's great.
The score is great. And Biolante's an interesting monster. So you've got all of that, and then after that you've got the floodgates open with King Ghidorah and all that goofiness and Mothra. And it's like okay, but for me, Biollante started it all, really. Kickstarted it, and then you can talk about the other Showa movies. You can talk about the more recent ones. I'm not as big a fan of Shin Godzilla as you guys are. I appreciate it, but I'm not as enthused about it.
And that's another one that I think, as someone who likes comedy, I would think that you would appreciate the satirical element in that movie.
I totally appreciate it.
But you just don't.
There's a difference between appreciating it and getting excited about the movie. It's like, okay, I know.
And
I
then
know
Godzilla, the design of Shin Godzilla.
That's good. Yeah, it's
fantastic.
interesting. It's interesting. Yeah, I like
it gives it more of a horror element.
Yeah.
But you don't like horror.
Oh.
And also, so here's another one where it's not that you changed my mind about the movie, but you did make me suspicious about the movie that followed this movie.
Okay.
And you can help me with it. So it's Rise of the Planet of the Apes is the first movie.
Oh, God.
Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is the second one?
I think
and then
know.
War on the Planet of the Apes, as I know, is the last one.
War is the last one. I get confused in the first two, but I had a lot of problems with the first one.
What? See, the first one I enjoyed. Fine. The second one I enjoyed as well, but your view of the whole series made me think, how are you going to wrap this up that it is satisfying? And the third one is just god-awful.
Well, the first one was a setup for something, and as a setup, I felt that it just was not strong enough. It had a lot of major logic problems for me when you've got
Like what?
this. Well, you've got, I guess, a biochemical lab that's got, that's engineering weapons, and I don't even remember. I think I blocked it out. But you've got the potential for a plague, and you've got this one scientist who's like panicked, and he's going outside the lab, and he's trying to save his own skin, and meanwhile infecting the entire city. And I'm thinking, you know what? This is just it's too pat. I don't buy it. It's a plot device, and it doesn't. I just didn't like it, and it wasn't enough to hang the whole concept for me, the whole premise. And so it falls like dominoes after that. It's just like, I'm out. I don't care.
But see, now I'm not saying that is wrong. I think that when you have a character who acts in a way, or there's something that happens that allows some sort of human error that you think is pat or sloppy. It can be, but at the same time, like an example for me would be the Dawn of the Dead remake. There's a lot of logic problems in there, a lot of them, but there is so much fun, good stuff that it makes me go, well, okay. And you never do that? I'll bet you if you start naming some of your favorite movies, like we can go down the logic train and...
Well, sure, but part of it is also that the reboot of Planet of the Apes was, to me, okay, you're messing with gospel.
No, you're not. You're not, though. See, this is the thing I don't understand. We're not messing with gospel because you have it. Just because someone writes a new Bible doesn't mean that you burn the old one.
Okay, if someone writes a new Bible and I happen to be a believer in the original Bible as something that's important to me, then I may be very much offended by a new Bible.
Why would you be well, that doesn't make any sense what I'm about to say. Why would you be offended by a new Bible?
Because I see the original one as gospel.
But we are reasonable people. And so, say it for anything else, whenever they do a remake and somebody tries to do something different, like, and I know this is controversial, but I like the Rob Zombie Halloween a little bit more than most people do. It's not my favorite, but I at least admired the fact that he was trying to do something that wasn't just the first movie done again.
But then why not do something completely original?
Well, but that's not the project. The project is make another Halloween. So bringing something new to an older property, I think, is fine, as long as someone is not then saying, well, now, for example, like George Lucas with the special editions, coming in and now, it seemed for a while there, altering his movies definitively forever.
Yeah.
And that I have a problem with, especially when it's it's a director messing up their own movie.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, can't you have an early work that maybe has some things that are a little primitive? You're going to keep updating the effects every single year?
Oh,
okay.
Oh, that's cool. We're just talking about remakes.
Yeah. So I'm not defending any of the faults of anything that's remade or any sequel that's done later. But what I am saying is that I think that you put so much emotion into it because somehow in your mind you somehow think it's taking away from the early one, and I just don't think it is. I think it either works or it doesn't, but everyone still has the original Planet of the Apes and has the original Halloween.
But you see,
and everybody likes those more for the most part.
It's not so much that it's taking away from the originals. It's having to justify its own existence. I did not see the Zack Snyder Dawn of the Dead because as soon as I heard about it, I thought, it's too soon. I feel like it wasn't that long ago that movie was made, and I know that there were remakes of Night of the Living Dead too, and they were, to me, pretty dispensable, although I know that there's been conversations on some that were better than others.
The Tom Savini one? You didn't like that?
Didn't see it.
It did some different things, and I liked some of the idea of like, okay, now we're having this color version that has some updated effects. They're not fucking with the original movie. They're not doing that thing where they added. Then they do that for one of the releases of Night of the Living Dead. They added footage to it or something.
Did they?
Yeah, and so that I have a problem with.
Yeah.
But to but to let someone lost their cockatiel. But it should be allowable to let someone take a strike at something and, it's not the end of the fucking world.
I think it's absolutely allowable, but it's also allowable for me to dismiss it and to say it's not for me. I'm not interested. Too soon.
But to dismiss something you haven't seen is odd.
To not want to see something on the grounds that I feel that it's not necessary, I feel is justifiable.
All right. Well, that's the last episode of Monster Party.
I hate sci-fi. I hate horror. There, I've said it.
But you do hate sci-fi. I was kidding about horror. You only just are...
Not that crazy about horror either, to be honest. But
well, no, that's true. That's true. And we need to make a separate little podcast for you where you can talk about, Rhoda
Rhoda, man, if I could talk about Rhoda, let's don't even get me started. That show
How
was
did we get you
awesome.
on here? How does I don't understand. It's so strange. Now, I think with horror you have a problem because it's too scary, right? Isn't that the thing? It's like, oh, it's too violent, it's upsetting.
I have a tolerance level for disturbance. Like, I can get disturbed by opening up my utility bill. That's as much disturbance as I want to handle. I don't find it cathartic to sit through truly disturbing, harrowing horror films. I love revisiting classics like Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, and some of these movies are truly harrowing.
Can't you watch it like through your hands, behind the couch? And I could talk you through it. It's gonna be okay. You see, these are all actors. That's not real blood.
Sometimes it's imagery and the ideas of it that enter my head that I can't get out. And I'm not saying that they give me nightmares necessarily, but they're not as cathartic experiences as maybe they might have been before or that I would like them to be.
Okay, so you hate science fiction, you hate horror, fantasy, Lord of the Rings.
Meh.
All right. Animation you like. We know you like that. Some. So you don't. So do you like anime? Okay.
Some. I've talked about the one on our anime episode. I talked about the ones I liked. So there's some.
And the other ones, you're not going to see them because someone already made an anime movie. And so what's the point, right?
I saw, I can appreciate why Miyazaki is popular, and I saw Spirited Away, and I thought, you know what? I from what I've seen of his other movies, it feels like all of kind of the same mood. And I know I sound like a complete dismissive idiot saying this, but every time I see a Miyazaki movie, I think, okay, well, there's this fantastic whimsy. And for those who love it, great. It's just not really for me.
There are ones, I would say that, like you, the ones that get too whimsical are a little much for me. I think Spirited Away is, like, right on the money. Not too much one way, not too the other. And amazing imagery.
See, that was too whimsical even for me. I'm just like, okay.
Okay.
I know.
All right.
I know.
So what's left?
I used to like James Bond movies.
You used to like James Bond movies. Well, I think we can agree on this.
Yeah.
And that would be the Daniel Craig movies.
Yes.
Just Leave Me Cold.
Okay, we do agree.
Yeah.
We do agree. Thank you.
Yes. In fact, there's the one where he's responsible for all this horrible shit and he doesn't get fired. And
Skyfall.
That's the one.
Ugh.
And it's just, all right. We got about 3 movies we can talk about.
And No Time to Die, don't get me started. 2 hours and 40 minutes, it turns out to be exactly enough time to die.
Nice one. Nice one, James. Okay.
I've been holding that
Okay,
one.
this one I got. No, it was good. It was good. No, I'm writing it down in the Monster Party Journal of Quips. What I would like to know is, I think I can say pretty much certainly that you like thrillers.
Yes.
So a movie along the lines of, say, Silence of the Lambs.
Overrated.
Okay, give me a thriller that you think is right on the money.
Well, there's Hitchcock, of course.
Okay, so all right, this is good. So you like Hitchcock?
Love Hitchcock.
Big hit. Okay, all right.
North by Northwest, I think is beautiful.
Is one of the greatest movies ever made.
Yeah. Okay,
Yes.
we agree.
What do you think about The Trouble with Harry?
Enjoyed it.
You did.
Kind of slight, but enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The beaver's in it.
I enjoyed 10 minutes of it, and then the
Really?
rest is like homework.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not one of his more significant.
Okay, I just want to get a general kind of level of where we're at here, of what we enjoy.
Okay.
One of my favorites, Shadow of a Doubt.
Oh, it's one of my very
Well, there you
favorite
go. Okay.
Hitchcocks. And it was his personal favorite.
Yes. Okay, all right. So
Wonderful.
we're on the same map.
Strangers on a Train.
Strangers on a Train is beautiful, right. Like when you get to like some of the older ones, what are the ones that you think are like exceptional? Or are you a fan of any of those?
The Hitchcocks?
Yeah, the early ones.
Well, I mean, Notorious isn't really
Notorious.
early, but it's
Right.
wonderful.
Like Jamaica Inn or something like that? Or?
Lady Vanishes is terrific.
Right. Okay, I think we're doing okay here in this realm.
Vertigo is maybe my very favorite film, and one of the top
I
five.
love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's
So-
one that is dreamlike
Mm-hmm.
and kind of a longer film, and
Mhm.
yet I'm in it all the way. I'm completely sucked in by the spell he has cast on me.
There's nothing else like it.
Yeah.
You know? And the very first time I saw it, and I think I mentioned this on the Hitchcock episode, I was disappointed because it had been so praised to the hilt in this story. I felt like, well, that's it. You know, it's not that satisfying. But in revisiting it, then it's sort of like Blade Runner. You know, you revisit it and you can go back to it. It's more thought-provoking than Blade Runner, but it's got all of this kind of romantic mood and nuance and
a different kind of thought-provoking.
Yeah.
Because even though this has been addressed in other science fiction vehicles, the idea of, the rights of an artificial human and what is human,
Right.
and I think all of that I find fascinating, but it's a different kind of interesting than, say, Vertigo.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just in terms of a movie that you can revisit that has more under the surface that might not have been that satisfying on first viewing, but that that you can go back to and see it different ways every single time. Blade Runner and Vertigo have that in common, and that to me that's rare.
Is it possible that maybe some of these movies that you're so ready to dismiss, that if you saw them again, you might like them more? Considering the Vertigo example.
Which movies are we talking about?
I'm talking about anyone. I'm not. I don't have a specific one involved. I'm just saying these ones where you go, which is all of anime and.
Well, okay, I would probably see value in other Miyazaki films, for instance, if I saw them, if I took the time to see them. I'm just not all that invested in them, based on Spirited Away. I thought it was fine. I wasn't sorry I saw it, but okay, I get it, enough.
I can't wait to read your script that you're going to write, James, because it's going to be the most logical, fast-paced, and most interesting, funny.
It's going to be an absolute masterpiece and the greatest thing ever written by anybody. Trust me.
Well, you know what? At the end of the day, we like what we like.
Yes, and I think it is.
And that's okay.
It is the end of the day.
It is the end of the day,
They're closing
yes.
the convention.
Right. And we like that because as much as we enjoy this convention, it's cocktail hour.
And tomorrow's another day.
Tomorrow is another day. And so I'm going to watch every movie that you hate tonight, pull an all-nighter, be even more on fumes, and then try to argue.
You have fun with that.
That's going to work really well for me. All right, James.
Okay, Matt.